Wow. So a lot of things happen for inside our country. Some feel be secret to a be say you go just the wonder how that kind of secret then go use come out for the limelight for this kind of time. Some feel just be any other thing. Some go be as a concerned government and within governments they do. Well, all of them and more now they bring center for inside the show like this every evening. My name is Precious Inye. Welcome to Update with Precious. It always suits my belly to bring on a matter them with a shell for inside Nigeria. And today, plenty story they will go talk about. But make I begin introduce my guest then, Sha, Prince Francis Chilakade here. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much as you oblige me. Thank you, Prince Francis Chilaka. Hey, not be small matter because one of the story that we'll get to talk about today, Akwa Ibom governor daughter don't accuse him papa of sacrificing the late first lady, their mama will die. Con they allege say she no also won't die. By the way, just for those who may not know, the Akwa Ibom governor is a pastor, Pastor Emo Eno, Pastor Omo Eno. Well, we will look into that conversation, and of course, I'd bring you evidences to her statement because not be me talking, not be Pekin talking. So you get anybody when they go home, may they hold the Pekin, not be me. And then moving on, Simon Ekpa's terrorism trial finally begins in Finland courts. That one said we will look into that matter. And then Biafra Day, Abia streets deserted as residents observe sit at home. In fact, not just not just Abia, Imo, Anambra streets deserted over the sit at home. Hardship and bad governance movement fixes nationwide protest for June 12. Mhm. And then school fees even more expensive abroad. Youth minister talks. So, and I think things hard for Nigeria. No. You don't know that school fees is even more expensive in abroad. You don't know that in the abroad school fees is more expensive. Okay. So for those of you who think if you jackpot, it's all for you. Okay, so moving on to other issues. Nigerians must take back their country, speakers say at Big Thumb Network Pali. And then moving on, presidency hits back at Atiku Abubakar over criticism of Tinubu's 2 year performance. You remember what Atiku talked yesterday concerning Tinubu's 2 years performance? Well, the presidency no get them taken lightly because they are vexing. How dare you criticize our government like that and tell us that people have suffered more in our administration than any other administration in the history of democracy? How can you say that? They don't hit them back. We'll let you in on that. Fear grips Abraka as kidnappers terrorize university town. That one said they'll go put one inside. Appeal court reverses nullification of Kanu LG election. We never know what thing will happen when the matter reach Supreme Court or maybe an appeal court. Nadia and anything go land pass. Okay, all right. Make we go to other matter them sharply. Yes. FCT Nigerians should support Tinubu. Autumn hails Wike's performance. You remember Autumn now? One of the G5. Now in the hail Wike, so you do well. Everybody come and support Tinubu. Tinubu's government quietly sends Nigerian high school graduates to suicide drone factories in Russia. Did you hear him? That Tinubu's government quietly, Nicodemously, as you can see, as they use reporter, sent Nigerian high school graduates to suicide drone factories in Russia. And then bandits killed over 10,000 bandits killed over 10,000 Nigerians in Tinubu's first 2 years in office. Amnesty International now talk up. And as Amnesty International talk up, my defense headquarters answer them. Amnesty, excuse me, you don't have your points right. How can you say that? Your report is a concussion of falsehood. It is not the truth. We'll go look into who they talk to and who they lie, when the time reach. First Lady of Akwa Ibom, Patience, will look into this matter. We concern her death when she died before and how she take that. And then this Obonge allegation will be say they grant like this. Prince Francis Chelaka, this and other matter them now we're going to look at this evening. Thank you so much as you join me. Where you go like me to start from? From the beginning or the beginning? How do you want us to start?
Well,
Just to start.
the funny thing is
Mm.
when you talk about the lifestyle of pastors,
Mm.
the
We don't
first
read
thing
here.
the first thing people will say is that you're attacking Christianity. And this verse in the scripture that says, touch not my anointed, is being blown out of proportion.
No harm.
Yes, because the whole essence of it is that if that person you call anointed is misbehaving, and the society and the people keep quiet, it means that misbehaving becomes more like something that is real. So, and that is a big problem. Because if you check, right from the inception of Buhari's government to this present government, your so-called men of God have played a vital role. Quite a number of your men of God led protests across the country. They turned their pulpit into a place where they demonized those who were in power before now. And then after the election of 2023, I think, yes, when your current president was declared winner, we saw an assemblage of some people who were referred to as bishops. And up to today, nobody has come out to tell us the history, the parishes, the churches, those bishops, were shepherding. Now, well, why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all of this because we seem to have men in cloaks who do not deserve to wear the cloaks.
Okay. Before we reach the men in cloaks, can I start with other conversations, please? Please. We've not reached the men in cloaks yet. We're still going to get to them. But before we reach the men wearing cloaks, let's talk to the mortal men first. We'll finish the duties of mortal men and then we'll enter inside men in cloaks. If you permit me, sir. So let's start from other. We have Simon a Pastoral coming up, but let's start with the sit at home, or maybe we'll just leave the whole Southeast agitation issue for later and then go straight to. So I don't know if you noticed a drama that happened sometime recently, and Akpabio responded to it about a particular senator that was asked to define a particular thing, and he said. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. He was asked to define a particular term. So he was saying that he did not, I probably insist he did not embarrass that senator. So I like us to look into that conversation. So a senator, Senator Musa, I think that's his name, said something which I'll play in the video. And then he was asked by the Senate president to explain what he means by what he said. And apparently, it was very difficult for him to say that. So, the Senate president has come under heavy attack by Nigerians. That he deliberately embarrassed the senator. And I just want us to touch on it briefly, if we can, before we move on to other issues. Just briefly, if you can, pardon me. So, reading out the story, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has debunked reports suggesting that he ridiculed Senator Sami Musa, chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, during a recent plenary session. Now, in a statement titled Clarification on Misleading Reports Regarding Senate Proceedings, issued in Abuja on Friday. Akpabio described today, he issued that later clarification today. Akpabio described the reports, particularly those circulating on social media and online platforms such as Linda Ikeji's blog and others, as false and misleading. Now, my attention has been drawn to reports circulating across social media platforms and online blogs which falsely suggests that Senator Sani Musa was rubbished during a recent Senate plenary for allegedly failing to define a word. We'll talk about that word. He emphasized that no such incident occurred during the session and clarified the sequence of events according to him. Now, when Senator Musa was called upon to speak, Senator Abdul Ningi raised a point of order, which by Senate rules required immediate procedural attention. This, he said, was handled in accordance with established legislative protocol, and the session continued without any breach of conduct. But let's quickly play that video so you take a look at what exactly played out, so you can tell by yourself if that was a deliberate embarrassment or perhaps it was just the fact that he needed to pay attention to the point.
What is the meaning of harmonize?
Without letting the man explain himself.
Harmonize is a situation where point of order.
Mr. President,
Order.
Order 86, especially Order 86C, by the leave 6.
Okay, so that was Abdulingi who called for the point of order. So, with what played out, Nigerians think that the Senate president deliberately threw Senator Musa under the bus by asking him to define harmonize. I think he was trying to explain something and he used the term harmonize. And then the Senate president now asked him, what is the meaning of harmonize? Perhaps knowing that it may be difficult for his colleague to explain, he ought not to have asked that question. Who knows?
I,
But
I,
let
I
me,
think I think I think
but
it's
the
high
point
time
evidence is that,
the
sir,
Nigerian people. It is high time Nigerians and the Senate understand that they have a dictator as a leader.
away.
Senator Akpabio is a blooded, so to say, dictator. He likes to shine. Anything that will take away the shine from him, he will refuse it. I mean, that is it. There's no missing words about it. You see, if you followed what has played out between Senator Natasha and Senator Akpabio, you'll find out that just after that, Senator Akpabio has been, indirectly in several ways talking down on his colleagues. He does not talk to his colleagues with respect. He does not understand that today he's a Senate president because the other senators came together and elected him. So he feels that it is his birthright to be a Senate president. If you recall, the other, was it 2 or 3 weeks back, when a senator from the Southeast was talking about the projects. When they were talking about the projects and that the Southeast was not included, you saw the way he kept interfering and shutting him down. So you just have a man who is a dictator. So what do you expect? He knows that the man may not be able to explain what he means by harmonize. But the question is, the man, did he pass a message? So why not take the message and leave out the messenger? But he wants to rubbish the man to prove a point that this man probably learned this word overnight and wants to shine with the word. So let him put him down. And that is what Fabio is. Yes. It's as simple as ABCD.
But he's
It's like a child. It's like a child who goes to cram to pass an exam. And he enters into the exam hall. And maybe the exam, instead of being a written one, he has crammed what to write. It becomes an oral exam. And then he throws one word. And the examiner is asking him, what is the meaning of that word? In his mind, he doesn't know the meaning of that word. He only knows that he has to write that word straight down somewhere to make a sentence. So that is what has happened. Akpabio knows that that senator may not be able to know the meaning of harmonize. But the senator is making a point. So he decided to pick that word, which he believes that the senator learned overnight to come and shine, and he wants to take away the shine from him. Yes.
But the Senate president is saying otherwise. He said that he didn't mean to do that.
Your Senate president has always been speaking from two sides of the mouth. Are you forgetting? Are you forgetting what he said when there was a bad governance protest? And he still came back and said, no, he didn't mean it that way. Have you forgotten when he said he was sending prayers to the boxes or to the accounts or whatever of the senators? Emails. And he said, no, he didn't say that. Have you forgotten when he said he will be drinking and eating and enjoying? So this is a man who talks and without thinking. He's just like most typical people on social media. They want to read and respond without assimilating what you have written. So the Senate president does not wait to listen and assimilate before responding. He wants to respond without reading. So he's always responding to issues without, first of all, thinking of the consequences of what he will say, knowing that, as he claims, is the number 3 person in the country. But he doesn't think that way. He wants to respond, and he wants to laugh over it. And then he will tell you, oh, I didn't mean it that way. He calls you a stupid man. I said, no, I didn't mean to say you're stupid. I need to say you didn't do this thing right. I mean, we're not babies now. Nigerians are becoming wiser and more clever these days.
Okay, so let's go back to that initial conversation. I knew you're eager to jumping on pastoral issues. I don't know if you're a clergy, at least in your former life. Sorry, sir. Okay, so going back to that issue. So, in a shocking reveal today, Jane Edidion Ufot, the daughter of Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Eno, has posted a video on her social media accusing her father of sacrificing his deceased wife, her mother, Mrs. Patience Oluwakemi Omo Eno, who died in September 2024 over an undisclosed illness. In fact, that death was a shock because people said she really didn't take ill and the thing just happened suddenly. That was what people are saying, them say. So it's not like we're all there. So you can't be there. You didn't exactly know and can't tell what's going on. Now, Mrs. Ufot, appointed as a senior special advisor to the governor on health, safety, and environment, blasted her father. That is, she lambasted her papa. She can't insist say she that say she no good say that she no go agree make them sacrifice her the way they sacrifice her mother, alleging some conny threats over her life and that of her little daughter. She even went as far as saying that letting the daughter talk to the supposed grandfather on phone, which is supposed to be the governor, and said, ask him, do you want me to die the way grandma and my little brother died? That was shocking. Now, she said, quoting part of it, she says, I'm not a sacrifice. Mommy was, but I'm not. I'm not a sacrifice. Mommy was, but I'm not. Thundered the governor's daughter. Now, Mrs. Ufot handed the phone to her little daughter, who appeared to be on a phone call with Pastor Eno or more. Mrs. Ufot told her daughter to ask the governor whether he wanted to kill her. That is the little girl, the grandchild. So, Grandpa, do you want to kill us? The minor asked, repeating the question as instructed. Do you want to die? Do you want us to die like my baby brother died? There was no audible response from the governor during the exchange, and it remains unclear who the child was referring to as Grandpa over the phone. Now, Mrs. Ufot said her life was on the line due to undisclosed revelations that may soon come to light. If I die today, she says, our daughter dies. If we die because God is exposing the truth, so be it. But my blood will not go scot-free, she insisted. Efforts to get, according to People's Gazette, when they publish this, not be me publish them, but I get the video of the daughter when they talk. I managed Connie somehow got disjointed once, but it was her face and her voice. Efforts to, according to People's Gazette, when they published this report, they said effort to get the governor's comment on his daughter's accusation were unsuccessful. As the line of his media aide, Ekerete Odo, was also switched off, so there was nobody that they could reach to get any gist from concerning this. But let me quickly play that footage from the daughter. Then please kindly.
Hi, my name is Jane Edidion Ufot,
go straight to other
SSA to the governor on health, safety, and environment. Daddy, I'll send this particular. Hi, my name is Jane Edidion Ufot, SSA to the governor on health, safety, and environment. Daddy, I'll send this particular post to only you. Please, let us talk before this thing destroys. You cannot, I'm not a sacrifice. Mommy was, I'm not. Mommy was, I am not. If I give you few minutes, don't work. I've posted this to everywhere. Tell Grandpa, finish talking, talk to Grandpa.
So they'll keep breaking and breaking.
So Grandpa, do you want them to kill us?
So Grandpa, do you want them to kill us?
Oh, do you want them to die like my brother died? Do you want them to die like my baby brother died? Ask him.
Do you want them to die like my baby brother?
Good.
Died?
Hey, hallelujah. If I die today or my daughter dies, Akemini. If we die because God is exposing the truth, so be it. But my blood will not go scot-free. Please share this thing. I'm more interested in my life.
All right, so Prince Francis Chinaka, you've heard that, and that's obviously his daughter, because I went further digging on her personal details to ascertain whether or not she's the one, and I'm going to get details, to verify that claim. But just before then, let's quickly look at all the ratios, especially considering the death of her mother, because the Akwa Ibom State First Lady, I think she died sometime in September 2024. I think September 27th or so, 2024, over an undisclosed illness. The state commissioner then for information, Emma Bong, in a release statement at dawn on Friday on the sad news, stated that the first lady died following an undisclosed illness. That's a sickness we didn't know about. Now, a Memoir Bong statement tagged Unexpected Sunsets read, "It's with heavy hearts that we in Akwa Ibom government announce the passing of the wife of the executive governor of Akwa Ibom State, Her Excellency Pastor Mrs. Patience Omo Eno, following an illness." That's what they put down. She passed away peacefully at the hospital on 26th September 2027 in the presence of her family. The family submits to the will of the Almighty and ask for the prayers and support of kind-hearted individuals during this difficult time. Further details will be provided by the family, as necessary. In the meantime, the family kindly requests privacy as they mourn their beloved mother. And I think she was buried sometime in November the same year. Yes, so she was buried in November. She was laid to rest sometime in November. I think November 8th, 2024. And then not quite long, her first daughter, was given, I don't know if the daughter was from her, from another person anyway, was given the position of the first lady. And then that did raise a lot of controversy. People come, they say, wait, you won't marry your daughter. How your daughter will use be your first lady? And then he now responded. I think there was an official statement in that regard, responding that the daughter is not going to be first lady. She's only going to be the coordinator of the office of the first lady and the SSC on first lady. That's what she's going to be. Prince Francis Chilaka, sir. Sir? Please, sir. We're waiting for you to chime in on this, sir.
I was saying before, and I'm not going to lose my thought. I was trying to tell you that the men in cloaks in Nigeria, a lot of them shouldn't be wearing the cloak. Like we would say, the habit does not make the monk, and that's the truth. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, we're so religious. We're religiously blinded to the truth. The religion we practice in Nigeria makes us blind, it makes us stupid, it makes us lose every sense of reasoning. And that is why a lot of men of God are taking advantage of people. Each time we talk about men of God, I keep asking questions that nobody has answered. And that first question I always ask is, all the men of God are assembled to Ojota to speak against Jonathan's government. Where are they today? It appears that they have all fizzled out. But you see, we need to draw a line between religion and the state, between religion and governance, especially in a country like Nigeria, where the political class are known to be involved in a lot of hideous activities. A lot of issues, a lot of things are said about the political class. So I keep asking myself, how do you manage being a pastor and then being a governor? And, we know what happens in that circle of governance across the country. We know how they embezzle our funds. We know how they do all their midnight meetings. So when you now tell me you are a pastor and you are a governor, my antennas go up. And I begin to ask questions. And those questions I begin to ask is, what is really going on? You cannot combine the two of them together. So, for the daughter to cry out, obviously means that there is something fundamentally wrong. There is no right-thinking daughter that will come and disgrace the father in public. This is a public disgrace. If this is a country that things were working accordingly, I am telling you, the governor would have been asked to step aside. The people of the state will tell their governor, Oga, back one side, maybe we know what in this lady they talk about. But no, you won't do that in Nigeria. Because the governor is a demigod. I won't be shocked tomorrow if there's another video coming, there's another video the lady will make, and telling you that she's mentally ill, or she didn't know what she was saying, or she wasn't referring to her father. Because this is Nigeria, a country where anything goes. But if the doctor is saying that the death of their mother is questionable, then the governor has a question to answer. After all, a man whose house has been demolished and who has been fingered for ritual killing has come out to tell people that, no, that is the next in line to become the king of his town.
Oh, that's, I was going to get to that too.
It's because he wants to become king. I'm coming. Because they want to make him king, his enemies are now the ones that went to plant things in his house. And I said, this man thinks that Nigerians are stupid. Okay, even if your neighbors, even if your enemies planted something, are you running away? When you know they planted something in your house that will, frame you, why didn't you go to the police to report? Why do you have to wait for others to discover what they were putting in your house when you know? So these are the issues. The lady has raised a very serious allegation against the father. But how will it end? Will the father be probed? Who will probe him? He's the governor of the state.
And he has immunity.
So who will probe him? Nobody. They say when a child is pointing somewhere and crying and pointing somewhere, if the mother is not there, the father is there. That is what this girl has done.
Okay.
So now she's pointing at a particular spot. She's telling you now that her mother did not die a natural death. She's also telling you that because of the things that she has found out or that has been revealed to her, her own life is in danger. And then, when things like this happen, the governor's phone will become unreachable. These SA to the governor of media, their phone, all the SAs, their phones will become unreachable because they want to go back and decide on how to respond to the issue. Because those who manage the governor lack proactive thinking. So it will take them another 2-3 days before they will not respond.
So that's the young lady beside her dad at the left-hand side, I guess, or the right-hand, his right-hand side. That is the left side of the screen during the burial ceremony of their mother. And I think she's still the one here with their daughter, with the little girl, the one that's responded. This should be the little girl she's holding in her hands. During the burial. That's the lady. So obviously she's her daughter. She's his daughter rather, and it's not a made-up story that she's his daughter. So I just wanted to point out that to Nigerians, and you can see the governor there. This was during the burial of the first lady who died in very unconfirmed circumstances, according to the reports that we heard. And there's a young lady here. And you can see the striking resemblance between she and her mother. Very, very striking resemblance. That's her mother. That's her mother. So you can see that, striking resemblance. So, Prince Francis Chilaka, what does this mean to the kind of politics we play? If this has anything to do with politics, really. Now, the reason I'm saying this, I've had okay, I've had somebody who wanted to contest for just local government chairman. And the person said he dropped out of the race because of the things they were telling him to do. That there was nowhere they did not tell him to go to, and what they did not want him to do. And that he started wondering that to what end, just because I want to be local government chairman. So if a local government chairman can be asked to do all sorts because he wants to be local government chairman, what can people, perhaps people who are going for governorship and other positions, or what might they have done, or what would they have done, as it were?
So,
And then why would they play this kind of politics of like we must go to every means to make sure say we get them? Why?
why do you think a lot of people say that politics in Nigeria is dirty?
Why does it have to be that dirty?
Yeah,
That's the
but
question.
it's unfortunate because power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. So that is why you see somebody who wants to contest election for maybe local government chairman and has a house, he'll go and sell his house. He'll go and take loan from the bank. He will do everything humanly possible to win the election. It's not because of service to the people. It's because of self-aggrandizement, greed, wickedness. That is what it is. After all, you were in Nigeria in 2023 when the election was held, where some youths, some adults, men who still call themselves youth, were walking around carrying stick and flogging people and stopping people from voting when they want to vote. It is also in this country you saw, if you know the history of Oro in Yoruba land.
Oro.
When you saw that we had a political Oro at the end of the day. Oro that a woman is not supposed to see during the day. That they will tell you there is an Oro, people are supposed to hide, run away and go to the houses. But you saw Oro in the afternoon, broad daylight. They were even videoing it. So what do you expect? They have bastardized our culture. They have bastardized our tradition. They have bastardized our educational system. All because they want power. And nothing else. You may say to what end? But the end of it all is like what is happening in River State. What is happening in River State? Where your former governor claims to own the structure, claims to have bought ticket for all those who contested for House Assembly, claims to have bought ticket for the governor, claims to have worked hard for footballer to become governor. So that's the kind of system we have. A very wicked political system and a wicked political class. And it's difficult to change this mindset. The reason is because our politics is completely monetized. Highest bidder, winner takes all mentality. And that is why we're calling for a change in our electoral law. Amend the electoral law, make it cheap. If people were getting, for instance, if you were getting the forms for free, you will not have a problem. If the elections you have to campaign without spending money, people will vote you based on your ideology, on what you're offering them, or what you're bringing to the table. We will have a problem. But we have a country where you will bribe people, you must bribe people to win an election. You must bribe party delegates to get you to become the candidate. You must bribe the INEC officials for them to do all the mago for you. And then finally, the same INEC will tell you, go to court, and you must bribe the judiciary to be declared a final winner. So that's the problem. And then these so-called religious men who got into politics have also been allowed themselves to be consumed by the things that happen in the political class. They've allowed themselves to be consumed. After all, nobody has asked, what's his name, Pastor, the pastor that contested for presidency, I remember, his name is flashing, I remember his name. Yes, nobody has asked Pastor Bakari how he got the 100 million he paid to obtain the APC ticket. Nobody. So these are questions. When people bring 100 million to buy the form to contest, we should ask them how they got the money. That is where the electoral process should start from. The amendment of the electoral law. It should start from there. If you ask somebody who wants to contest for local government election to go and buy a form for 20 million, we should be asking him how he got the 20 million. So you find out that the political parties themselves are the problem. They put the ticket, the form at a very high price, and then they force people who want to contest to go and borrow money, to go and do whatever. Some of them even go and steal, so that they get the money to buy the form. That's just the first phase. And then the next phase, they start thinking of how many bags of rice to buy, how many cartons of noodles to buy, how many tins of bulbs of onions to buy. So people are not contesting election based on ideology. And that was why when the obedience came out, when Peter came out and said, I know they give shishi. A lot of Nigerians didn't understand what he meant by that. But those who have given you money to win you over, to get you to vote for them, that is why everybody in Nigeria today is eating breakfast.
Ew.
So the issue of Nigerian politics has defied every definition. The democracy we hear for the people, by the people, and of the people, what we hear, or the democracy we have in Nigeria, has nothing to do with the people at all. People not there for, they're not counting as anything.
Okay,
That's
so
why when you win an election, the first thing you do is to change your phone number. Nigeria is the only country where you have a governor, a sitting governor. He will leave his state and be running his state from Abuja. And people will be clapping. A governor that has for 8 years, you cannot see anything, any imprint of the governor in the state. And he will come out and tell you he has done this, and then people will start going around, propagating it. We have quite a number of governors like that. This is a country where the policies of this government has pushed millions and millions of Nigerians into multidimensional poverty. And yet people are clapping and, coming out to tell this is the best government. Their policy is the best. Hunger is doing you, and you're promoting nonsense.
Oh, we'll get to that. Somebody earlier today said that it will take 8 years for us to enjoy the benefit of Tinubu's reforms. And I would, Sasabi bring evidence. I could bring evidence. But before then, for the benefit of those who just joined us, make I play that video of waiting the Akwa Ibom State Governor daughter, Pastor Eno daughter talk. And the accusation which she did, because sometimes it is good maybe people hear from the horse's mouth.
My name is Ufot,
and hear what she has to say.
SSA to the governor on health, safety, and environment. Daddy, I'll send this particular post to only you. Please, let us talk before this thing destroys. You cannot. I'm not a sacrifice. Mommy was. I'm not. Mommy was, I am not. If I give you few minutes, don't work. I've posted this to
just to point out, do you hear how heavily she's breathing from the background?
My name is Ufot.
Okay.
No, it shows you somebody in agony.
To the governor.
It shows you that the person is in
on health,
agony.
safety, and environment.
Okay, sir.
Daddy, I'll send this particular post to only you. Please, let us talk before this thing destroys. You cannot. I'm not a sacrifice. Mommy was. I'm not. Mommy was. I am not. If I give you few minutes, don't work. I've posted this to everywhere. Tell Grandpa. Finish talking. Talk to Grandpa.
So they'll keep breaking and breaking.
So Grandpa, do you want them to kill us?
So Grandpa, do you want them to kill us?
Oh, do you want them to die like my brother died? Do you want them to die like my baby brother died? Ask him.
Want them to die like my baby brother?
Good. Hey, hallelujah. If I die today or my daughter dies, Akemini. If we die because God is exposing the truth, so be it. But my blood will not go scot-free. Please share this thing. I'm more interested in my life.
All right, Prince Francis Chilaka, sir, as scary as that is, well, we do look forward to hearing from. I actually tried to contact. Yeah,
Precious, they say
sir.
that politicians in Nigeria, they dine with the devil. I'm not the one saying it. A lot of them have said it to me. I've got a number of them as friends. They dine with the devil. The kind of things they do, the ordinary eyes cannot see it and be happy.
But do we believe the daughter just like that? And people will come, there may be a report that will come out now to say that she has a mental health illness and she doesn't know what she's doing.
After
That could
all,
be
you remember the lady that said she slapped the former governor yes on weekend in the former acting or MD of NDDC that claimed that she slapped him. After that slapped Akwa, yes. We were told that she had mental problem. Is that not how the matter was? It's easy. The thing is, when you have a fight with Nigerian politicians, any cloth where they wear you for body, now you go wear. Because they have the money, they have the power, they have the resources. After when I started, I said, tomorrow I will not be shocked to see another video saying that the lady is mentally sick. After all, even going too far, Precious.
Sir?
After all, the factional leader of NANS that claimed to have been that claimed he was abducted and beaten at the instance of the first son, Sheyi Tinubu, and other people he called their names. You know how that thing has been. It's been back and forth. After, 2 or 3 days after that, we saw something trending on social media. Oh, that no, it was not. But we didn't know that the person in question was in detention. So they wear a magbada. Say, it'll be out, but we don't know the person there in detention. The question is, has he been released by the DSS?
There were people who came to claim responsibility for beating him up and all that. Where are they?
That's what I'm saying. Has the young man been released? That's where we start from. So that's the kind of politics we play in this country. A politics where you cannot criticize the system and go scot-free. The moment you criticize the system, you become a target. At the same country with a year say, is it NAFDAC that went to seal up shops in Onitsha? Came, turned around and started asking people to pay money for their shops to be open. And then the question they're asking is that, if they pay that money for you to open their shops, are you asking them to continue with the illegal, contaminated and fake drugs they are selling? These are questions. So we just have a system that we don't question. We don't vigorously question this system. And when you try to to question the system, you become a target. So far, I think in some tabloids today, we saw that they said the total money that they have given to NAFDAC is about 3-point-something billion. The money enter federal government account and enter individual account. Is it the federal government that is saying, go and open the shops and collect money from them? So the corruption in the system is nauseating. It's like cancer. And it cuts across board. As you talk for NAFDAC, you go to talk for NDLA, you go to talk for DSS, you go to talk for police, you go to talk for your governors, you go to talk all over. So we need a government that will have the political will to curb the corruption, to curb the anomalies in the society.
All right, sir. So let's quickly move on to other issues because they're quite we have quite a lot to attend to today. Very quickly. So let's go straight to Simon Ekpa's conversation as the trial of the self-acclaimed Biafra Prime Minister's Biafra Republic in exile, Simon Ekpa, has just started. Ekpa appeared before the, I think, Päijät-Häme District Court in Finland today, Friday, to face terrorism-related charges. In November 2024, Ekpa was arrested by the Finland government for alleged terrorism-related activities. He was accused of inciting violence and funding terrorism as part of his agitation for Biafra. Now, he was also accused of inciting violence and causing unrest in the southeast region of Nigeria. Ekpa was accused of sponsoring unknown gunmen wreaking havoc in the southeast under the guise of enforcing sit-at-home orders. It was reported that the prosecutor is demanding a 6-year prison sentence for Ekpa, arguing that his activities constitute terrorism under Finnish law. The Guardian, was quoted the prosecutor, Samsa Hakala, as saying, "We have a great deal of evidence regarding this individual's online activity and communications." Now, the reason I thought to raise this to the fore is, what do we need to do and how far not to go on the things we say and do across social media? Now, this is one of the reasons why that's Simon Ekpa in court today. That's him in court today. The reason I said is this is so that when people say, when you just think that because you're on social media, maybe you're not in the country, you can make contributions that are indicting, discriminatory, or whatever it is. What should we learn from this, really, sir? Let me take your reaction.
Well, what we should learn from it is that I don't believe in violence, and I don't support anybody that is, using violence to achieve an means. I have always said that it is better for us to judge than to war. Simon Ekpa, for me, what he was doing when he was in Finland was totally unacceptable by me and by a lot of Nigerians and a lot of people from the southeast region in particular. You don't sit down in Finland and be, asking people to kill people, asking people to destroy people, just because you believe you're not in the country. I believe that if you want to fight a system, you don't fight it from outside, you fight it from within. So yes, it's a good thing. Let the rule of law take its course. And it's also a pointer, like what happened to Sheikh Gumi. It's also one of the things that has happened. It simply shows that when you're on social media, and your lifestyle and what you're propagating on social media affects the life of other people negatively, you have to pay the price. Sheikh Gumi was stopped from performing the Hajj, and
yes, because of his view. He said because of his political view or something.
But then information coming out is that before now he knows that he has been banned from entering Saudi Arabia. He has been banned.
But no vex. Okay, so but no vex. Say that she go missing. Don't they hungry me to talk am since, but I be never really get time to talk am. No vex, no vex, no vex. This same Saudi Arabia, is it not the capital of the Islamic religion? You understand? Which is the capital of the state, the religion where they are defending very strongly in Nigeria. So how come that same capital of the religion is against the way we Nigerians practice their own religion that we borrow from them? I don't. There's something not
Precious, calm down.
sir. Sir?
Calm down.
Okay, sir.
The religion we have in Africa, and especially in Nigeria, is adulterated. Call it the Christian religion, call it the Muslim religion, is adulterated. You see, first and foremost, I don't understand why anybody in his right mind would start fighting for God. You are fighting for omnipotent, omniscience, the creator of the human and earth. The creator of the creator of the world, the one who created you. You are fighting for him. Based on what? Is that not an aberration? So the fanaticism we have in Islam, we have it in Christianity. And it is causing havoc in this country. In Islam, you see people who tell you, they're killing somebody in the name of Allah. What kind of religion is that? In Christianity, you see people telling you, fast for 40 days, fast for 100 days. Their pastors, their GOs will go abroad and receive treatment in best hospitals in the world. But they will tell their church members to continue to take oil, anointed items. Their leaders will employ soldiers, employ police to guard them with arms. And then they will ask you to wear some form of chiffon and be walking around and you are protected. Is that not mental slavery? Is that not slavery of the worst kind? So you have your religious leaders who are untouchable. And yet, the gullible followers listen to them. I always tell people, when people bring issues of religion to me, I tell them, I said, there's this story that it was a life story, a real reality that happened. It's a Guyana tragedy. Jim Jones. I tell people to go and watch it. Watch the movie, read about it. You will understand the mental slavery involved in religion. It takes the grace of God for your eyes to be open, for you to understand how God works. During COVID-19, did you hear of miracles? Did you hear of miracles? When people were forced to stay in their homes, did you hear anybody telling you that they're going out for miracles? So
Did you not perform miracle during COVID?
How many of them they perform? You see them? But see, the point I'm trying to make is that anybody who is fighting a cause and is using religion and tribalism to fight that cause is a madman. And that's just the truth. So Simon Ekpa should face the law, let the law take its due course. And that is why I also like the way the trial of Nnamdi Kanu is going. Let us know the truth from the lies. These two incidents and the incident of Sheikh Gumi, it points to one direction. And that direction is that it is time we sit down and renegotiate this country, Nigeria.
Okay. All right. So let's move to other issues very quickly. I think Mr. Kenobi has just joined us, and I do hope that Prince Barrister C. Adams would have the time to also quickly join us. He's trapped somewhere, but I do hope that he can join us very quickly. Yeah. So speaking about Ekpa now, you know that Biafrans all over the world set aside 30th of May to celebrate the fallen heroes of the Biafra War. And in that regard, in fact, the streets across most southeastern states were deserted. In Abia State, in Imo State, in Anambra State, and some other, southeast states, people just their house say that they use and obey their fallen heroes, and they said that they did it voluntarily to remember their fallen heroes. If the Nigerian government will not remember the people that they murdered during the war, they, the Biafra people, or they, the people that their people were killed, will rather remember their people. I don't know if you want to chime in about, but let me quickly bring a Kenya.
Yeah, before you bring him in, but I want to chime into that. You know, if you see what happened across the southeastern states today, people stayed at home. Nobody forced them to stay at home. Nobody was killed. No truck was burnt. No houses were burnt. Unlike the one that they were forcing people to do. And there's a message in it. The message is that the Biafran spirit cannot be forgotten. That is one. Two, Biafra is an ideology. And Biafra, whether you like it or not, is the way and life of the Southeasterners. You can't take that away. You can't push it away. But what we are saying is that we do not want Biafra that is embroidered in violence and killing and destruction of the properties, the lives of the Southeasterners. That is not the spirit of Biafra. That is the spirit of greed. That is the spirit of people who do not understand the history of what Biafra stands for. You cannot kill your own people and you claim you want to save them from another person. You don't know. That is not proper. What you saw playing out today, or what you saw that played out today, is the true spirit of the Biafra. Nobody forced them. People just on their own said, no, we need to honor those who died, those who were massacred, those who were starved to death. That is the true Biafra. And that is the Biafra I stand with, not the Biafra of violence.
Okay. All right. So let me bring Mr. Kenobi in. Perhaps he chimes in on another conversation. Let's see. Mr. Kenobi, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me, Mr.
Yeah,
Kenobi?
yeah,
Good evening. Thank you so much for
yeah,
joining
yeah.
us. Okay. So while you were away, a lot of things happened, though. A lot of things happened while you were away. One is that one governor's daughter accused the father that he sacrificed his mother that died, her mother that died last year, and that she doesn't want to be the next sacrifice. Hey! Did you see that video, Mr.
Yeah,
Kenobi?
yeah, I saw the video.
Eh?
I saw the video, man.
Hey, it fooled my mouth. In case you don't want to talk about it, I understand how you may not just want to chiming into that, but it's okay if you don't want to talk about it. Eh? But let me go to
Let me
other.
just maybe just a statement about it,
Okay,
yeah. Uh,
okay, just make one
yeah, yeah,
statement.
because I mean, we know what our politicians do. We know what they do um
So they do
to get
something.
into power. We know what they do. It's an open secret, right? And for this
Wait.
one to come from a family, I mean, for the daughter of a governor, a sitting governor, to speak this out. So you can only imagine what has been going on at the background that we don't know. In other words, she's kind of inundated with,
Like, don't
do you
fool ahead.
understand? Like head don't fool, mouth don't fool. She needed to just steam out this one you heard. And it's a very serious matter. You can only just imagine what could have pushed her to make an open statement, not just within the family, but to even make a video and had to send it for everybody to get a hold of it. So it's just a whole lot. I sympathize with the family and what is going on there. And when people look at the governor, the prefix to his name has a pastor in it, right? And being a pastor, you can only imagine how people think that.
Listen in it. Listen in it. Okay. So I'm supposed to respond. I'm supposed to respond to that.
Okay, so you
Nigerians don't
spotted
mind
that.
us.
You spotted that. So
Just go ahead.
that
No, it's
is
okay.
that is the
Go
one of
ahead.
the biggest deception you can ever find, where you call someone a pastor, and this kind of diabolism is happening in the family. You understand? It's not any other person that has accused the governor, but his own daughter, and then she is, almost trying to call for more like scream and shout out her own
She's
safety, to
already
tell the
more
whole
like an
people that, look,
SOS alert. Yes, that if anything happens to
exactly,
me,
look, in case
yes.
anything happens to me. I think it's going to that level where she could no longer keep quiet. A whole lot is going on in that family. I really sympathize with them, really.
Okay, oh, let me leave. So, in case you came to church late and you did not see that video, you guys don't make me play that video again. I played it like a million times. Sorry, I will
Okay.
play it again at the end of the service. He did not come to church.
No,
Prince Francis did not do dry fasting in church today. That's why I did not.
bros,
I'm
I
not going
hello.
to do. You know, like
Don't mind pressures when they carry pastors for head.
Prince,
Right.
that's not my anointed, sir. So let's move
Which
on to other.
anointed? No talk that kind of
Sir.
thing, though. Okay. Oh.
Okay, sorry. So let's
Go
move
ahead.
on to other issues very quickly. I'll join like 3, 4, 5 conversations together, so I just have your opinion on it. So, The organizers of the End Bad Governance protest are planning another protest for June 12th. Now, one of the leaders of the movement, Comrade Hassan Soweto, made the announcement at a press conference yesterday, Thursday, in Lagos. According to him, the protest is aimed at expressing dissatisfaction with the current administration over its economic reforms, which have triggered hardship. So to emphasize that the removal of fuel subsidy and unification of naira have adversely affected the economy, pushing many citizens into hardship. Another result of Tinubu's 2-year presidency, he said, is the asphyxiation of the national economy due to the diverse effect of the removal of fuel subsidy and the naira devaluation. He did say quite a lot. Nigerians are suffering. And then Atiku Abubakar also said a lot. In fact, Atiku said that in the history of our democracy, see, we're not around this. I'm telling you what happened yesterday. You know, you're not around. So he said in the history of our democracy that there is no president that have suffered Nigerians like Bola Ahmed Tinubu has suffered Nigerians. That is, he's the king. You know, in Port Harcourt, those days don't want to yarn slack. So there's difference between suffer and swaffer. You know, so this one, he has swaffered Nigerians very well. So this one, Nigerians don't hear him way, you know. But then the presidency now came for him and started attacking him. You know how presidency used to do. So, in fact, what's his name? Atiku Abubakar mentioned different indices. He named them. He said, even when you see, in fact, he said that Tinubu's government is enriching the rich and making the poor. In fact, widening the gap between
Encouraging the poor, yeah.
enriching the poor. And then you say, now even lambasting them and saying, you say people should manage. How are you managing? You're not even showing your life like someone who's managing. Your cabinet members are not showing like people are managing. In fact, people even said that yesterday that it looks like every person in your cabinet have one comma in their life history or the other. You know, that kind of thing. Now, the presidency have now reacted and now lambasted him back. That why would he say so? Because he failed the election. You know, when I failed the election, the use cost person pass. Okay. Then another person now came out to say something again. For those people who japa and carry their families to go abroad, that is the Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Oluwande. He now said that that school fees abroad are very expensive than what is obtainable in Nigeria. So if you think you can just go abroad and just go to school, you go to abroad and school. That school fees abroad is very, very expensive. It's very, very expensive. Then in a media party, an organization had a media party, speakers at the Big Thumb Network BTN roundtable yesterday, Thursday, had a media party where they said that it is necessary for Nigerians to come together and take their country back. When you finish responding to this question, I'm going to play you a video where somebody said in that video that, Nigerians, fear God, though. Why are you doing like this? Because this reform like this that our president is reforming, it will take 8 years before people can reap the benefit. So why are you in a hurry to get the benefit? But before I play that video, let me take your reaction in all of these things I've said. Yes, sir. Why are you shaking your head?
It's just a whole lot you've read out, yeah?
It's so real. I did not give details. If I give details,
let me just take the ones I can remember quickly.
Okay.
Now, the organizers of End Bad Governance, all of that, you know, that they try to put together. My problem, and I keep saying it, is the lack of sustainability on all of these organizations. They've tried a couple of them in the past, and I will always give credit to one seeming organization that happened in the past that was a quasi kind of serious protestation at first, and then when the same thing that government usually use to frighten the people, you know, when it came to be, the people couldn't sustain. They had to scamper for safety, and then that fizzled out. That has been the worry, and that protestation was NSAS. NSAS was almost like what could have been a very serious type of protest that could shake any government in power. And when they saw that,
did well to nip it in the bud.
Yes, good. When they saw that, they were threatened. Even at the time, the current president had to, you know, I think he flew to France or so. He took off.
Okay. Yeah, he
Of
wasn't
course.
around.
I mean, the current
I
president
hope
now,
they didn't take your light,
right?
sir, because
Because the
somebody sent
whole
a
place
message here.
was shaking.
Okay.
And then government had to again put fear. Fear has been the problem. Fear factor. Now, that fear is what Nigerians haven't been able to conquer. And until they conquer fear and eventual death, knowing that to protest for a serious policy that is against the people, dying is not an option. Being wounded is not an option. If they have that in mind, then if they put out a protest, it will make sense. Otherwise, if it goes the way other protests have gone, they won't be able to achieve anything. And I like to look at final solution to problems and not just for anybody to come up and then want to organize protest, and at the end of the day, it doesn't achieve any form of goals. That's one. For Atiku, so I kind of wish the guys that are organizing to protest on June the 12th, I wish them well, but they should be more serious in protesting to achieve a set goal. That's for me. Otherwise, it will be effort in futility, like it used to be. Atiku, criticizing the government of the day and, really now the things that they are doing wrong, policy-wise. These things are plain truth. Everybody know them. And the reason why, see, look, if government of the day, right, had put out these policies, we know that there is no way to go around these policies other than the fact that the people will go through some sufferings. But that the people are suffering today is not the problem. The problem is why they are suffering. The people in public offices are enjoying as if Nigeria does not have any problem. That is the problem there. So you make policies, the people are going through hell, and then the people in government are feeding fat. And then the former vice president comes to let you know that, look, these policies are almost anti-people. Try and see what you can do to ameliorate their problems. You are telling him which mouth intake that talk that kind of thing. Okay, you're now looking at attacking him personally rather than looking at the issues that he raised. And that's the problem of the government of the day. If they can, be able to accept criticisms and then try and do something about, because what Bayo Nanoga said is, oh, you said something as if he was attacking Bola Tinubu rather than saying the problems that we're all facing. And Bayo said, if he had said those problems and proffered solution, that it would have been better. The ones that have been proffering solutions, like Obi and various other people, have they been taking it? When Obi criticizes, for instance, and proffers solutions, what should have been done, what do they call him? Do you understand? So either way you slice the yam, it's not any better. That is the problem. These guys, these attack dogs are just there to attack even a statement that is plain in truth, that even the blind can see. They will always make it look like you're talking nonsense. And this is the strategy that they all want to use to continue to push back and push back and push back and not let anybody even talk until they finish the administration, be it 4 years or 8 years. And then they will leave the saddle, another person takes over. So these are the problems that we keep experiencing in this country called Nigeria. It's not supposed to be. Nigeria seems to be the only country, even in West Africa, that things are like nothing is working. Let me put it that way. The easiest thing any country can achieve, Nigeria has not been able to achieve it. What is there in electricity, for instance, to achieve electricity increment in the country? We have the money. How did Dubai and other cities in the Middle East, how did they develop? It's from this same oil money. As at 1992 up to 95, Dubai was still a desert. How long did it take for them to build a new city? How long did it take for Abu Dhabi to be built? How long did it take for most of the countries in the Middle East that have the same oil that we have? How long did it take them to develop and become, even build the smartest cities you can find anywhere in the world? That today, people are the kind of tourist attraction that they have, the kind of monies they are minting, they are making, you can't even imagine it. In West Africa, Nigeria seems to be at the bottom of the food chain. Why? If you go to even Benin Republic, you will see what looks like a country that have laws. People behave in such a way that, you know, even when you travel and you're a Nigerian, everybody from Cotonou to Togo to anywhere in the world, they know Nigerians. Why? Because we have leaders that are not serious. Leaders that have never been serious. And they keep doing the same thing over and over. And again, you look at the definition of madness by a psychologist. Psychologists will tell you madness is defined as doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That's exactly the kind of problems that we have every year. In fact, even the way we make things is not the way we will live it. It will drop before the people, you know, in that administration leaves office. What is the problem? What is really the problem? 1999, they started this democracy with about 5,000 megawatts of electricity. This is about 24 years or so after. We haven't been able to increase 2,000 on top of it. And meanwhile, if you want to generate 1,000 megawatts of electricity, you will spend about $1 billion. So if we have spent over $130 billion or more since 1999, does it not mean that we should have added about 130,000 megawatts of electricity plus the 5,000 we started with? What do you see today? So they keep mismanaging public funds and keep telling people stories. It's very easy for Bayo Nonuga to reel out, you know, theoretical part of what was written. How about the practical side of things? Nobody's interested in increasing anything. How wicked can people be? These are the problems, and we will keep talking about it because everybody is in this life to live and die. It doesn't make sense for people who are living now cannot even afford to experience the easiest things other countries are really proud of, and they've even forgotten about it. I'm in a country where light is stable, everything is well planned and coordinated. It all came through planning. It is human beings that did it. It's not God, it's not any spirit. And it is the people that people elect to govern them, to serve them. They go there, use public funds, and do the things that will lead their names on the sand of time. Since everybody would die. So what is all this about? Amassing wealth, primitive acquisition. You carry out the money, put it in the bank. Everybody suffers for lack of infrastructures and everything. And then who loses? The country will lose. Nigeria has no business.
Let me ask you, do you have a country?
Nigerian masses have no business suffering.
Do you have a country?
I think it's about time we began to look at how things are done, including religion, even including what you call culture. Because even when people look at culture, what you see them embracing is the culture that is so negative. Culture that is repressive. That's what will tell you, oh, that's our culture. As if it's only Nigeria or Africa that have culture. Everybody have culture. What is culture? Culture is simply a way of a life of a people. And you keep modifying it based on the generations that will come, you know, from time to time. They are not the same.
Right,
you keep modifying it because any culture that does not serve any human being, any human interest, is not supposed to be, because it's man that made culture. And culture is
Thank you,
supposed
Mr.
to
Kenneth.
serve every human
Thank you,
interest.
Mr. Kenneth. We need
Religion
to
is supposed to
dive
serve
into
every
that
human interest.
conversation.
So
Thank
there
you.
are
Ekene is
certain
on
things we
fire.
really need to look at. But I can tell you
Thank
that the government of the day, right? They are doing
Yes,
what other governments did. Maybe they're doing it at a higher level, trying to be more like show cavalier to people's plight and problems. People are suffering, people are dying, they don't care. You understand? They don't even want to talk about anything that will benefit anybody. They just want to put pain in the hearts of people. Go and listen to it, whatever you make of it. If you want to die, die. Look at the way people are dying in Nigeria as if we are not even fighting conventional war. And people die in droves. And then it is all about condemnation. Do I go to the video that I watched earlier, the DPO guy that died?
oh
Who
my
does
God,
that
you see the way they
in a
killed him.
current
It's sadly.
civilization?
Yes.
Who does
The way they
that?
killed him.
And now that
It's
happened
very
in the
horrible.
north. You can imagine that happening in the south. How they would just the whole of that area, everybody will be in cell. But because it's happening in the north, they will just maybe sweep it under the carpet. Nobody will talk about it.
Thank you,
So
Mr.
just
Kenneth.
a whole lot
Thank you
going on
so
in the
much.
country, and it
Let's.
saddens me
I like
that
the
every
fact that
time
you
we
were
talk,
burdened.
we talk about it. As we're talking, more and more things are happening. I don't know who is going to bail the cat. I really don't know. But I think
Ekene is on
Nigerian
fire.
people, the
Thank
only
you.
thing that is holding them
Thank
back
you. Thank
is
you,
fear.
sir. Thank you.
And that
Thank you,
fear
sir.
is also made worse by the different religious beliefs that they have. You understand? So until they conquer fear, then they can't really move anywhere. Because politicians are having field day because people are scared. Nobody wants to die. Meanwhile, people are dying every minute. So why don't they channel the death in rescuing Nigeria? That is the problem. Each time I hear this, every day, tomorrow, there is still going to be another problems that will topple the ones we've just heard today. So Nigeria, like people say, has become a crime scene. It happens every hour of every day. What are we going to say? If things are not changing, we can only just keep talking. But we'll just have to talk because these are the incidents that are happening right in our faces, and we'll have to talk about them. I just hope a solution will be in sight. And let's even just try and have or experience what the country looks like. Because Nigeria is going down by the minute. It's really going down by the minute. And I don't even listen to people like Bayo Ononuga anymore because there is nothing good that comes out of his mouth.
All right. Thank
It
you, sir.
appears that
Thank you.
he just doesn't care. Even if the country burns, he doesn't care.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so
I
much,
don't
sir.
know.
Thank you.
We just see how
Hey,
things pan out, man.
thank
That's
you.
the only thing I can
Ekene is
remember
on
from all the
fire.
things you've
Unburden your
reeled out.
hearts.
Ekene is on fire. He's just shooting and shooting. But on a more serious note, let me just say this, Ekene. You raised a very pertinent issue. Yes, you raised a very pertinent issue, which is what happened to the DPO in, I think, is it Kano or Kaduna? You know.
State.
Now, why I feel so aggrieved
Can you hear me,
for the
Precious?
family,
Yes, we can
but I
hear you.
also feel aggrieved because
network.
tomorrow these same people will now be tagged as repentant, and then they will be reintegrated into the system. When you have a system that does not punish people for a crime, the crime will persist. And like Ekene rightly said, if this thing was done in the southeast or south, the entire village and vicinity would have been condoned and wiped out by now. So you have two law systems in Nigeria, one for the south, one for the north. In the north, you can always reabsorb them and call them repentant. In the south and southeast, they must face the rule of law. It's so sad.
Mr. Kenneth, can you hear us now? I think something's wrong with his network. I was going to say, just when somebody mentioned that, I mean, his network is clear now because he's out of the country. He confirmed it that he's out of the country. And I was like, how did this person know? Are you a witch? Do you fly at night? How did you know this, Francis? Okay. So,
the Nigerian network and the network abroad are two different. So when you see the yes, it's so clear, so no distractions, nothing. But so when you're there, Niger network get as they do. The village people they carry, then they carry a knife. They cut the cable when they talk.
Mr. Kenneth, somebody post here. He says, see how Mr. Kenneth's internet is good. He is because he's out of the country. When he's in Lagos, we won't even hear what he's saying at all. Child. And then you now confirmed it. I was wondering if the person is a witch. How did the person know that you were out of the country? Okay. So speaking about that incident we talked about the DPO, I think I have the video, but unfortunately, I can't post the full video. So I cut off the area where they were actually hitting the man. But whatever sound you see, know that that sound is on somebody's body. The way they were capturing his body, and it's really, really sad. But there is also more details to that. So that's basically a mob attack. That's a mob attack. Now, Prince Francis Chilaka, you where they talk, say, if they supposed carry them, say, then do waiting. They supposed carry them go where? This one are the good ones for the society, now commit this one, no. Now, mob attack, oh. This one not be the militants, them. That is not not be the terrorists, them do this one. Now, the good guys. I don't know if you get me, huh?
Precious. Good precious. You are calling them good. It's first I say, they say that from play. 9 woman they get belly.
Anyway.
This is not play, 9 woman they get belly. And now from this kind of play, now they enter market. Now from you don't decrease, you don't they mad, you don't decrease. 9 person they pull cloth, you don't decrease, you don't they mad, you don't enter market. So if you look at what has really played out, on a more serious note, if you look at what has played out, and tomorrow, these guys are not arrested, they are not punished. Even when they get arrested, they are now recalled, repentant, and reintegrated into the society. Are you not breeding monsters? What is the justification for that? That's the question I'm asking. What is the justification for that? Why do you arrest people? Because obviously these guys, they didn't come out with the intention of just beating the man. They came out with the intention of killing the man, which they succeeded. So what makes them different from the same guys who are carrying AK-47 and chasing people away from their ancestral homes and killing them? So there's no difference. A life has been lost. And that life that has been lost was killed, was shortened by individuals. So they should be caught, they should be held accountable, and they should be prosecuted. Not tomorrow you tell me that they have become recalcitrant, they have become repentant, and then you are absorbing them back into the society.
All right, so let me give a bit of background or some stuff for further conversation on that issue, because I was able to dig for that. There are reports that this particular DPO that was mobbed had killed by angry youths over suspect death. You know that they didn't just kill him; they suspected that he killed somebody. Right? That's why they mobbed him. Right now, we heard that that the suspect that this particular man had previously tortured 2 friends to death in Bauchi State and left another badly injured. So looks like these are the reports that this mob scored, and then with annoyance they make sure say they
okay. Question, that is not an excuse. That is not an excuse.
I agree. Mob, no.
Yeah, they should allow the law to take its course.
I am just giving you more
I understand.
Background.
They should have allowed the law to take its course. Because what you're saying now is that if anybody gets arrested we've had several cases in Lagos where people get arrested and they get tortured. We've had cases where even people have claimed that their family members have been killed in the cell and all of that. So are you saying that it's a free for all for those people that were killed to just go and catch the police officer or the DPO and kill him in such a way?
Okay, so Prince Francis Chilaka, I think it's also good for us to balance conversations, because when you look at this issue, you also look at it the other way around. Ibana, on 2 weeks agenda, so that we can balance the conversation right. Now, looking at this issue from this other angle, we hear that this Baba Ali, the divisional police officer, DPO of the Rano divisional headquarters in Rano local government area of Kano State, who was killed by angry mob over the alleged torture and death of a suspect had previously been found guilty by the law, found guilty of killing two individuals, according to this report. Now, the DPO was attacked after this, the crowd felt that, oh, their friend again has died under his watch. So if somebody,
Now,
that
okay,
tells you, what
now,
about our law? Why can't you
wait.
not come
Now,
into order? If somebody has been found guilty, why
the
still leave
question
him
we
on
should,
uniform? Why still leave him
the
in
question,
uniform? Why still allow him to parade himself as a
precious,
police officer and
the
then
question
commit
we
some
should be
crime again,
asking
sir?
is to the Inspector General of Police. If the man was convicted, was he convicted by the law court? If he was convicted by the law court, automatically he loses the right and privilege of being a police officer. And that is the truth. So if before you are even taken to court, from what I know about the police, in the case of homicide, in case of murder and all of that, and then in case of torture death, you will be stripped of your uniform. You will become an ordinary citizen, a civilian like you and I. Like they will call us bloody civilians. You will become a bloody civilian before they take you to court. So if the man was convicted, like the reporter said, who gave him back his uniform? Did he re-employ himself? So when you say we want to balance it, I agree we must balance it. But the question is that why must we always wait for things to go bad before we begin to point fingers? What stopped these people who are aggrieved? What stopped them from insisting that the man get arrested? So what they did was to waylay the man. Because if he is truly a DPO, why did they go to the station to cause trouble? Why did they have to waylay him outside the station? So it is premeditated. And that's my own argument. So long as the man is a police officer, no matter what he has done, they should allow the law to take its course.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Now, speaking about insecurity, people are also worried about insecurity. Kidnappers have turned Abraka Delta State University town into a flashpoint, making the locals and students fearful of being kidnapped and killed because it's becoming a routine. We hear that people in Abraka now are living with their hats in their hand because they are worried. And it's a thing, and nobody is saying anything. You see the problem? Remember, saying what happened for Romeo? What did they kidnap people for Romeo? Kidnap. Till then, can't see people where they come vex, come mob them. This is what is happening again. Now, Abraka people are crying out that the kidnapping case in Abraka is becoming way too many. And then government never do anything about them. Now, there is this report now that people can't even go out and come back peacefully without reports of being kidnapped. And it's happening daily. We hear that in the last few months, the local police have been powerless to stop the criminals who have unrestrainedly attacked and kidnapped students and residents. Kidnappers seized Clinton Udumodu, a student of the university, on May 25 and also captured his brother who went to deliver ransom to them. Did you hear him? They released the two brothers a few days later. Then nobody volunteered to bring more ransom to them after they did to Clinton's brother. Worried residents have staged daily mass protests since the incidents to bring the state police hierarchy's attention to what's going on, but to no end. In fact, they said they saw that they kidnap more people time and time again, and that's an issue. So, speaking about this now, insecurity, as it were, I think Amnesty International published a report where Amnesty International said that about 10,000 Nigerians have been killed in the first 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. That he has touted his security credentials that have brought cold comforts to millions of Nigerians. Remember that he said during his midterm scorecard or report that security has improved under his watch. But Amnesty International is saying, how dare you? Because over 2000, now quoting Excel, it said a new investigation shows that in the 2 years since the current government has been in power, at least 10,217 people have been killed in attacks by gunmen in Benue, in Edo, in Katsina, in Kebbi, in Plateau, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. This one not there for other states. Oh no. One chance and all of those. Ima. Now, it disclosed that bandits sacked 672 villages in 3 states. The rights group reported that Benue accounted for the highest death toll, with 6,896, followed by Plateau State with 2,630. Within these 2 years, in the 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government, new armed groups have emerged, including the Lukarawas group in Sokoto, Kebbi, and I think Kwara State, the Mamuda the Mamuda in Kwara State, while hundreds of villages have been sacked by gunmen in Benue, Borno, Katsina, Sokoto, Plateau, Zamfara, and Benue State. According to this report, the majority, if not all of those affected by these attacks are farmers. Those displaced, whose displacement means they can no longer farm or cultivate their crops, and thereby this is affecting food security. But guess what? Defense Headquarters has responded to this report by Amnesty International. The Defense Headquarters said today, Friday, that since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office in May 2023, the military had achieved significant milestone in degrading terrorist networks, disrupting criminal syndicates, and restoring civil authority across many volatile regions. Now, consequently, Defense Headquarters said in this period, over 5,000 insurgents and bandits have been neutralized across multiple theaters of operation, including the Northeast, the Northwest, and North Central. Also, over 350 communities and villages previously under control of terrorists and bandits, particularly in Borno, Niger, Zamfara, and Katsina, have been recovered. I didn't mention Plateau and Benue. Now, debunking the Amnesty International reports that 630 persons have been killed in Plateau by terrorist bandits in the last 2 years, as well as displacement of 165 communities in Plateau as concoction of falsehood. They say that's in a concoction, so now just go carry falsehood, cook and for team. Responding at Amnesty International's recent report, they also said that a bleak of generalized picture of national security, which largely ignored the asymmetric and evolving nature of modern threats. So, bottom line, Defense Headquarters is rejecting what the Amnesty International has said, but I don't see clear figures that they have put out as to what their immediate response are. They said the period covered, the press release did not record coordinated attacks on communities except for the Christmas Eve 2023 and the recent security breaches in Bukus and Bassa local government areas. Therefore, the allegation of killing 2,630 persons in Benue State in the last 2 years are a concoction of falsehood in pursuant to self-serving agenda. I'd like to get your response, Mr. Kenobi, if you can, very quickly, sir.
Okay, so
So,
you have Amnesty International
saying one thing and your government is saying another.
A non-governmental international organization.
Yes, please.
That is saddled with the responsibility of setting certain records straight. Because we know government such as the one we have, could alter figures when something like this happens. Because if Amnesty International didn't raise those concerns, there wouldn't be a response from the government. But because their report is antithetical to government's position, they found the need to respond. But you see, Amnesty International reeled out numbers. They gave figures, so their data are verifiable. But the response from the DHQ is generic, just a way of pushing back to let the people know that, what these people put out are not true. You see, it's not about being true or false. Everybody knows that a whole lot has happened in Nigeria and are keep happening. In fact, like I said, Nigeria is experiencing worst war situation in terms of killings, in terms of death, in terms of injuries, in terms of kidnappings, in terms of anything you can think of, anything worse that can happen to a nation that is even in war. And it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a very big problem. So it's not about what
it's
they're able to respond. Yes, no. It's not about their responses to this particular news. or data that Amnesty International have put out. We all know the truth. I mean, if anybody is waiting for verification of whatever, as if, oh, did it happen or did it not happen? It's still happening. It keeps happening as we speak. More things are happening. You understand? I mean, I remember when during Buhari's administration, when Lai Mohammed was the Minister of Information, at some point he tried to alter the code, NBC code, broadcasting code, to let people, all the media houses, not more like cancel them from reporting exact numbers of death. The killings going on. They shouldn't be mentioning numbers. That's a way of demarketing Nigeria. That the international communities needn't be hearing from them the number of people that are dying on daily. They should just say few numbers died. I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing anybody can say, holding that position. But it happened in Nigeria. So we are not ready to give the exact numbers from our own perspective. And then somebody does a terrific job of getting our numbers, putting figures to what they think happened or are happening, and then you're countering it as if it never happened. I don't know how to really defend what the DHQ are saying, because to me, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense in the sense that there is nothing done to mitigate or to forestall or to complete or to even, bring a little bit of calm to the rage of killings that are happening. They are not doing nothing. It's as if we don't have even military. It's as if we don't have any form of security, apparatus that can help to safeguard this nation. From everywhere, you have different borders. You have sea, you have air, you have road, land, you have within. We are all troubled. We are troubled from every corner. And then one would be wondering, are we running a nation? What is the problem with our country? I mean, people are quick to, even things, the truth that are in black and white, somebody will come up and tell you, look, it never happened. But everybody here, we are all adults now, so we know what is going on. We hear, we listen. It affects people that we even know. I don't understand what is going on. But I think, I wouldn't say like we know already. People who are in government, they are there to defend even things that are indefensible. And that's where it becomes even ridiculous. All right? Amnesty has said what they said. DHQ had, come to ridicule themselves. I think they should go to work and actually protect the integrity of this country. This country is boiling right from within and a little bit from outside, because all the insurgents, all the criminal terrorists are coming from different borders that we have that are porous. Inside is boiling, outside is boiling. What are we going to do as a nation? So rather than talk and begin to defend the indefensible, let them go to work. Let them really go to work, because that is their core mandate, to protect us, especially the DHQ, from the outside, while police does the inside job. But what you have here is overlapping issues where Army does what police is supposed to be doing. Police does what FRS is supposed to be doing. LASMA does what police is supposed to be doing. Nobody even knows their job function anymore. So there is a level of confusion that's happening in the country. We really need security, real security, to safeguard the lives of people that are living in Nigeria, because people are dying in droves on a daily basis. And that's an indictment on all our security forces.
All right,
They
so
should
Prince
do
Francis
better.
Kilaka. Okay, so why you want to react to this very quickly, just to bring to your attention that the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has said that insecurity has affected or affects, is in continuous tense because it still dey happen, affects 150 million Nigerians, threatens agriculture and all that. In fact, he said at least 150 million Nigerians have been affected by insecurity. The National Security Advisor said so.
At least he has
this
said the
Friday.
truth. Go ahead.
Ribadu also disclosed that in Abuja, yeah, he disclosed this in Abuja today. He talked about the agreement aimed at, some agreement about. Let's forget about that. Now, the NSA said insecurity has had a devastating impact on agriculture, which remains the primary occupation of most Nigerians. He said security is the biggest problem we are facing in all sectors. Both the biggest victim of insecurity is agriculture because the biggest victim is agriculture because when it comes in or when it came in, it interfered with our lives. Nigerians are farmers. Either you're a farmer or from a family of farmers. So all of us, one way or the other, are connected to farming. It was affected or it has affected us a lot. Insecurity has turned our lives upside down. When we came together, or when we come together, rather, we are better off. We must come together and give our people their lives back. So he did say, and others. So while you're responding, please kindly touch on what he said. So it can't be like saying the National Security Advisor
Precious, wait,
and the
calm
Defense
down,
Headquarters. Sir?
Precious, calm down. So suddenly you want us to clap for no Ribadu. Is that what you want us to do? We should clap for him for telling us what we already know. It's new Ribadu not even ashamed of what he's saying. Today he tells you that they are taking care of insecurity. Tomorrow he tells you that they are battling with insecurity. Next tomorrow he tells you that the farmers can see what is he talking about. This is the same government only yesterday, they told us how they have decimated every network of insecurity. That's what they told us yesterday. Few days back, this same new Ribadu was telling us how since they came to power, they have fought and that Nigeria is peaceful, that Nigerians can go to bed and sleep with their eyes closed. I've always maintained, and I'll keep maintaining that when government and government agencies come out and say inflation has come down, I ask them, what market do they go to? What empirical facts are they relying on? From what Nuhu Ribadu has said now, is an indictment on this government. He has opened the nyash of this government to everybody. Because he has told us that what he's indirectly telling Nigerians is to get ready for harder times. If the farmers are unable to go to the market, to go to the farms, where will the food that they claim the price is coming down, where is it going to come from? You remember, Precious, don't forget, and I believe you also remember, this government said that they were going to give free imports of grains into the country.
They said it.
Precious, have you heard anybody talk about it again?
Sir?
This is a government of promise and fail. The only thing this government has done, the only promise they have kept, is to widen the tax net. They have done that religiously. Is to institutionalize multi-dimensional poverty.
And continue what Buhari stopped.
They are doing it so perfectly well. Is to enthrone corruption to the highest. Beautifully doing it well. But the things that affect the lives of the people, they're not doing anything about it. The defense spokesperson that came out to tell Nigerians that the report of what do you call them now? Amnesty International is wrong. They can clap for them. You know why they clap? If the defense ministry has come out to tell us that all the people in IDP camps have been returned to their ancestral homes, Precious, I'll be the number one person to clap for them. I will be the number one person to accept whatever they are saying. But they, like we say, talk is cheap. They know they pay for talk. They know they collect money for talk. Even tax, they don't tax you say you talk. If not, people will know they talk. So make the defense people go sit down somewhere. Make them go sit down for parents, they drink their brukutu. That's what they need to do. Let them continue to drink brukutu. All I know is that you see this war this war of the insurgents. What happened was, 2 days ago, was it in Borno, which state, that they wanted to take over the military base? I'm sure you heard about it. You read it. And you saw the fight that went on. It is not just the ordinary Nigerians that this thing is affecting now. Let the military keep lying to themselves. Let them continue to lie to themselves, and this thing will catch up with them. And it is catching up with them. The government does not have the will. You saw the local government chairman in Benue State who was crying on air. You saw the man. And the man said, who is responsible to give order to the military to engage these people? So what is going on? Why is the military afraid of engaging these militants and these bandits and terrorists? The only time they will engage them is when they want to take over their barracks. That is the only thing that matters to them. So let us be very honest with ourselves in this country. I've said it severally and I'll keep saying it, that the government is complicit in everything that is going on as far as insecurity is concerned. You cannot arrest people who have taken an oath to kill other people, to displace them from their ancestral homes. And you not tell me, you turn around and tell me that they are repentant and you integrate them back into the society. Are we mad? Are we stupid? Nigeria has degenerated to the point where you have the worst of us ruling the best of us, and you think things will get better? Things will not get better.
Okay.
Until the Nigerian government and the Nigerian military and the Nigerian forces are ready to do the needful, we'll keep scratching the wound on the surface.
Okay, so we're still talking about insecurity, and unfortunately, I think this has affected a governor, the governor of Taraba State, Kefas Agbo, because he has now explained that his sister Atsi Kefas was initially believed to have been killed by bandits along the Wukari Shinkai Road in 2024, just last year. He's now said that no, it was actually police officers that killed him, police escort, and not bandits. So, speaking with journalists in Jalingo, the state capital, Governor Kepa said investigations have shown that his sister was fatally shot by a police escort assigned to his mother. Atsi was reportedly traveling with their mother from Jalingo to Abuja when the incident occurred. Now, life is very precious to me. You can't just send someone's life and think God will be happy with you. So my younger sister was not just was shot and killed by a police escort who was inside the same bus with her, who was sent to escort her and his mother. Now, investigation revealed that my sister Atsi was shot at a close range. The policeman is still under investigation, so that justice must prevail. What could have led a policeman to kill a sister in an incident? It's somebody who's under your care, your guard. You killed the person. That's talking about insecurity. But let's quickly delve into 2077. I just make a tell on a sharp before I talk about the hardship for inside the country. Because somebody don't come out and talk. So you know what, it will scam down. People want to be president, Abi. Let's the Southwest get the presidential candidate for 2027. Then Igbos can also try to see if they can get the presidential candidacy for 2031. You understand? The person who said it, his name, he's the leader of the Arewa Summit International, Dr. Bashir Lamido. He has called for the Southwest to produce all presidential candidates for 2027 election, while advocating that the Southeast should take the same opportunity in 2031. What will not happen to the North and power going back to the North? I don't know, but I thought to tell you. But while we're looking at that, do you want to chime in on that, or we should just move on to other issues? I just to make a
Where you won't move? Where you won't move? Where you won't move to precious? You can't move anywhere.
No,
This thing, let us be very honest with ourselves in this country. Let us be very honest. Until we stop electing people based on tribe and religion, this country will never develop. Until we stop electing people based on tribe and religion. How can we be in the 21st century? We're talking of the Gen Zs. When the kind of people will be 90 years old, 80 years old, they make president. What is there for the head they won't give the country? How can they move this country forward?
Sir, but they say that what an elder sits down
as a parent, at the age of 70, 75, you can no longer give directive to your children. You can't give them any direction. You can't even tell them what is happening on the internet.
But there's wisdom in old age now. Wisdom. That's in where Pekin sit down.
The wisdom in old age. The wisdom in old age, not before leadership, not for guidance. Yes. Do not become a statesman. You sit at the back and you try to look at issues and try to guide people. You can't be 78, 80, 81. You want to be president of a country with massive youths. What do you carry for that you won't give them?
Okay, so
questions our young generations are not asking. And I feel so ashamed sometimes when I see young people coming up on social media to defend inanities. There's a video that has been trending where some people are saying, this is the best government ever. This government has done the best for us. And the same people, when they punish you, now they come praise for public. Sure, now they catch Nigerian youths. For how long will Nigerian youths keep behaving like idiots?
Sorry, sir. Mr.
Okay,
Kenobi,
so
sorry,
let me add to what my brother is saying there. All right.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we talk about first and foremost, this is how you understand the country that is not ready to move forward. But let me also make it clear the reason why you just said something. You said what an elder says sitting down, right? That's a proverb.
They say people like on a climb the Roko train and no go see them.
Good. That's a proverb in Africa, more so in Nigeria. But let me try to debunk that a little bit, because I mean, like we said, there are certain things that used to be part of our proverb. One of the times I was in England, I saw a documentary many years ago. A particular virus caused a certain tribe in India and Bangladesh, okay, to weep blood. That is, the virus makes them to cry blood. And I used to respect this as the proverb of Africa, where they say, you know, if you cry blood. When I saw that blood, I have stopped using that proverb for whatever reason. All right, the documentary, if you Google it, you will see it. They used to shed blood. I haven't, you see, now person go talk, now the one way I never see, now I mean go use. So people were limited by knowledge when they made certain, you know, pronunciations and then use certain words. If somebody tells you what an elder says sitting down, if a child climbs up, you will not see. Maybe it made sense at the time, because I mean, when wisdom, it's all about how long you've lived on earth, your experiences on earth and all of that. So you expect that a child will have to go through those number of years before you go experience the thing you don't experience. But you see, times have changed where the biggest oracle anybody need to consult now is the search machine like Google and the rest. Anything you want, you will get. And the problem of Africa is the more like there's no transgenerational transfer of knowledge, morality, culture, okay, where the elders of today transferred certain knowledge that will help the child of today, even though with his nuanced knowledge, to combine with what used to be, so that the child will know what is ahead of him, futuristic things, and will also know what the things he couldn't meet. There are certain things that gives fundamentality to a culture, and then people continues to carry it through. Why do you think in America, an old man like Trump or Biden, as old as they were also in tune with the current things, right? Because they keep on researching and reading. They know, no, you cannot tell an American old person, be it a man or a woman, you don't know what is going on now. No, they know. They talk about it. They won't tell you, oh, because I'm old, I'm an old school. In Africa, you hear, you know, say, I'll be old school now. What is going on now? Yet you live now, and then you're telling me that you know more than the ones that are supposed to be channeling, or rather, you know, moving things forward in the now. So that demarcation in Africa is what is causing problem, where the old people did not teach transfer that knowledge that will help the young. The young knows what they know now, so there is a gap between them. The old people stop at what they know and try to use their old experiences to want to rule now. It doesn't work. So this is where the problem is. Coming to, like I said, Nigeria, we talk about tribe and why and how we elect people. We elect people based on the things that just don't make sense. And that's why you see that the country has refused to move forward and can never, ever move forward. So the old people who are telling you that it's their turn to rule the new generation, you can see where we are. You can see that there was this other time in Nigeria when I think Supreme Court gave a judgment based on the fact that an old man came to give testimony, give witness, or rather an old man was a witness to that case. And then when the old man spoke, Supreme Court, according to them, gave judgment because they say they believe that the man could not lie because he's an old man. You can't imagine that kind of stuff. How much people revere, say, old age against people who have brilliant and bright ideas that can actually move the country forward. So until we get to that level where we begin to look at merit, intelligence, and those who can carry us through, because the world has become so challenging that if you don't have people who understand the matrix of the world today, we can move forward. And I'm interested in us moving forward rather than the North rule, the South rule, Hausa rule, Igbo rule, and all of that. That is still the politics of the old, and it can never, ever move us forward. I'm interested in the things that will move us forward. Because for me, that kind of idea is sharing. Okay, so we give these people a chance. However they destroy the country, it doesn't really matter. After them, it's the next set of people. It's sharing formula, and it doesn't help anybody. And like I said, we're living to die. How is it that the people of Nigeria today cannot experience the minutest of what other people have been using and have forgotten as a problem? Why can't we? What is the problem? What is just the problem? That's the question. And until we're able to do the right things, I'm not sure this country will move forward. And it bothers me a lot. It does bother me. All of these shenanigans going on. It bothers me personally why the country is not moving forward. When we have litany of people who are brilliant, who have the requisite knowledge to move the country forward, but they can't give them chance. They can't. They can't. It's really, really ridiculous. And I just can't wait for things to change, if it would ever change.
Okay, well, speaking about that change, that's the junction where I'm right now. That is where I'm right now, because you know what? Someone who said he's one of the leaders of Afenifere was interviewed by Arise Television earlier today, and he had a lot to say about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's reforms. Here is what he had to say. He said something very important, so please listen very keenly to what he had to say about the reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Thank you for inviting me here. All of us has been living in this country for a while, especially in the last 10 years. We knew the rudiments. This government of Ashwaju came in 2 years ago, and then he embarked on reforms that is like a surgical operation trying to take out a cancer from a dying patient. That is our understanding in Afenifere. Just note that we are a patriotic observer of the government and not a spokesperson for any government. Where government is doing wrong, we're going to say it. Where we are doing the right thing, we say it. So far, our belief is that what the president has embarked on is a massive political will to right the wrong that has been embedded in this country. And we understand that even though it's a gestation period, It's like a collapsed building that all the tenants, all the occupants has to move out. Some will stay under the bridge, some will stay under the tatters, some will hang their belongings somewhere, waiting for the rebuilding of the property and move back. This is what we are experiencing. And during that period, there's going to be a lot of suffering, in which we understand that. Our prayer, our plea is for Nigerians to understand what is happening to us. It has never happened to us before. We need to confront the Lucifer that is building Nigeria for a long time. Nigeria must be great. Somebody must do it. When he came to visit us in Akwa, visit our leader in Akwa the other time, he said, what is going to happen is going to be like a baby trying to take a walk. When he wants to take a walk, he's going to stumble sometimes until he finds his feet on the ground. That is his message for us. That is the understanding we are having on.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys have heard this. Mr. Kenobi, so in a nutshell, the president had to take up a tax. We can't hear you. I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear
So
me?
the president had to
Can
take
you
up
hear
a
me?
tax that is very
I
difficult.
didn't hear.
And
I didn't hear
and this
one bit
reform
because
needs
it
8
freezed
years.
up. Yeah, I didn't hear one bit of what he said. Mm.
Oh, Mr. Prince Francis Chilaka, did you
You
hear?
want me to respond? Okay,
Okay, I want
let
let
me
me
respond
explain to
before you
Mr. Kene.
play.
Okay, respond first, then so that you take go ahead.
It is people like this man that makes me feel ashamed of those who call themselves elders of this land. I'm happy he said in the last 10 years, he was very definite. He said in the last 10 years that Nigeria has become a country that has cancer. Now, let us be honest with ourselves. Which government has been in power in the last 10 years? Colossal a waste of 8 years from Buhari to another 2 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is that not 10 years? So if he's saying that Nigerians have been suffering and that the country has been bad in 10 years, he should be frank and open to tell us that the 10 years of APC is a disaster. That's what he should tell us. You're talking about people being patient. They're talking about the president telling you that, Nigerians, it is like a baby taking a step and falling down and rising up again. But this is the same president that went and bought a private jet, a presidential jet. He's asking Nigerians to be patient. This is the same president that bought a limousine for himself to enjoy the luxuries of life. He's asking Nigerians to be patient. The Senate and the House of Rep, they've been collecting their salary in due time. They've been collecting project allowance in due time. And they're asking Nigerians to be patient. They move around with security agencies, protected and all of that. They're asking Nigerians to be patient. And it's coming on national air to beg Nigerians to be patient for nonsense and stupid administration. An administration that has reduced Nigerians to the poorest level. And a man like that is opening his mouth to tell Nigerians to be patient. The problem with this country is tribalism. Until we remove tribalism from our eyes, this country will not move forward. And that is the truth. Tribalism and nothing else. We don't care who the person is. We don't care whether the person has common sense or not. As long as it is from my tribe, let him be there. And that is why this country is not moving forward.
Okay, so Mr. Konobi, the man was speaking. I think he's one of the organizing secretary or something like that to Afenifere, and he did mention that what the reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is like taking an urgent surgery on our economy, which is a life-saving surgery that is needed to save our country, and that Nigerians should bear with him because after surgery there is time which ought to give him time for recovery, and that basically he did mention in some part of that. Mr. I don't know if that's part of what the one I posted, that the country would basically need about 8 years for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's reforms to yield benefit, for them to feel it. So that when things like that happen, some may sleep in flyover, some may go through hardship, some that it is normal, but we need to give the president time to enjoy the benefits of his reform,
Okay.
at least 8
Yeah.
years.
Okay. So you know that the emergence of Bola Tinubu, well, before the election, Afenifere was a socio-cultural pan-Yoruba interest that used to maintain one body, became divided. This is just a bit of historical background of what I know. The head that died, that they buried the other day, forgotten his name.
Adebayo.
Adebayo, good. Right? You know, because he supported any candidate because they had like a mandate, they had like the things they would want the president to do, whoever is going to win. So they actually allowed certain candidates like Obi, Atiku, and all of that to visit, including Bola Tinubu, table what you want to do for the country and let them wait and see if it's in tandem with what they had as their own plan. And Obi presented, Atiku presented, and they looked at the whole thing. I think they advised them basically, okay, what to do and all of that. But I think they seemed to buy more of Obi's policies. Then the current president, Bola Tinubu, found a way, you know, or rather the association divided those who supported him, feeling that he's an Omoluabi, right? Anyhow, he should be supported. The ones that tried to sit on the truth, according to them, decided that, look, there is need to make sure that everybody, anybody that is making sense is what the association would support. So Adebanjo decided to support the Obi faction, okay, standing on their own truth. And then this other side decided blindly, either way, let us support the Omoluabi guy, okay, who happened to be the president today. So I
would have loved us to speak towards the context of what he said.
Yeah.
I would have loved you to speak towards the context.
What you have heard him say now, which is again a position that they are holding now in order to support even his second-term ambition, is to let you know that Afenifere speaking, their own faction, all right, is to say, give this president some time. The policies he has, you know, put out, regardless of the fact that Nigerians are suffering, give him some time. Things are going to get better. This is a blind support. And because they wholeheartedly looked at him and like, look, if the other side of Afenifere, tomorrow they might give their own press briefing to let you know that, look, this is not what they support. This is not them speaking, because they stand, according to them, on the side of truth. So this other faction is supporting blindly, let me put it that way, wholeheartedly to the current president. So whatever he has said, it doesn't minimize the sufferings of Nigerians. Yeah, but maybe he is also being minimalistic with the sufferings, because I mean, if you look at the things going on in the country, how would anybody tell you to fasten your belt or tighten it in any case? Because fasten belt you can easily remove, but when you tighten it, you almost want to kill yourself, right? So they tell Nigerians to tighten their belt because they are going to take certain policy decisions that would affect their lives not in the right way. But the problem is when you take certain decisions and you don't have a time lag, right? You don't have a timeline to say between now and now, you guys are going to go through some things and we are with you. In fact, leading that suffering, the government of the day is supposed to show leadership in the way they manage our public resources. But no, they are living to the teeth affluently. They are doing the things that would even anger the people that they have asked to tighten their belts. So these are the problems. If things like this continue, and then the man has come to now speak his own. So you can only imagine, it's all about aggrandizement, personal interest, and the way they do what they do. It really doesn't change anything. The truth is, Nigerians are going through hell, Nigerians are suffering, and if he has come to speak, he is coming to speak because, you see, Nigeria is what it is. Anybody can come and say whatever they want to say, and nothing will happen to them. Do you understand? The fact that, you know, poetic justice has never been introduced in Nigeria, where people are paid for, more like merit is paid for. Punishment is also, you know, meted to for those who behave badly. Until we get to that level where we have to introduce poetic justice into our system, nothing is going to happen.
Thank you. Thank you. So the reason I said this is that many would say that is the president oblivious of what he should have expected before taking over office. I mean, there's a man who told us that he prepared for this job for about 30 years, and that he knows the seriousness of the job he's taking.
That's part of the way to deceive the
So
people,
why
so
giving
that
us this
they're able
excuse?
to gain the mandate and then begin the next stories, because they like to tell Nigerian stories.
To do what you
And they
have
know
to do.
Nigerians like
All right,
something,
thank you.
and then they buy it,
Let
and
me
then
quickly
use
let me
it.
quickly move to other
Crazy, man.
issues, please, sir. Let me quickly move to other issues. Well, Nigerians who are over 500 watching, please now. You know they pay money. Don't be DSTV, don't be Good TV. Don't worry. You're not paying money to subscribe. Please subscribe. Like this post. You're not paying money for liking. You know, it's not even cost you more data to like. So please like, share, subscribe, and of course comment. But now speaking about this and doing things right under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's scorecard, there was an interview earlier today with Arise Television again with the Minister of Works, Dave Omahi, your brother, and they asked him questions about the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. And you know, when they ask him the question, I'm speaking for Pidgin English. When they ask him a question about the project, why the project no go through due process bidding and all that, he get a lot where he get to talk. You know, so now we be men sabi something for engineering past me. He made an excuse. He said there are different procurement.
Who
There are
told you?
different, you know,
In my department, the professor there that taught me, professor of engineering, was a woman. So what are you talking about?
Say the last president tell us the place of women
Boy,
is
leave that one out there.
so we can't really. I'm not even sure I have sense anymore. But there are things he said that different bidding processes and all of those that were used, and that one of the reasons they picked high tech, is because them don't control the marine water. Sorry, they quelled the sea. You know how Jesus calmed the sea. Because and you, Mr. Kenobi, you have been in Lagos very long enough, and you understand the Atlantic Ocean. The Minister of Work said there was a time the Atlantic Ocean was about ravaging the entire Victoria Island, but that was able to, tame it and call it. So that is why they had to pick them out, saying, "Well, now only I understand this marine water them. We did this water so that they no go past their boundary. Can't help us. Make a play and make you hear am from the mouth of the speaker. Make you no be like
On
saying
the issue of Lagos Calabar
just
Coastal
quickly
Highway,
take a listen to what you have to say.
my good friend Rufai knows that I've been to the studio and I ran the cost, the cost of this project. And when I ran the cost of this project, I also went to other TV houses and I ran the cost of the project. But very good news to announce that 2 development banks that are also funding the loan component of the project, they were with us, in Abuja, and we came to Lagos to look at the project. And I know that the praises resonated at the World Bank conference in US before the Honorable Minister of Finance, where they praised the project and they praised Mr. President for his reforms, and in particular this project. And so when the Deutsche Bank people came and we went through the project in Lagos and the Development Bank of Southern Africa, they marveled at the rate of construction, the quality of work, and the innovative ideas of Mr. President in insisting that this road be done. And I quote what they said that the project was undervalued. And so anybody talking about the cost of the project, I'm here to defend it. Let me say this and make it very clear, and before God I serve, Mr. President never had anything to do with the procurement process. There are 3 definitive procurement processes. And the first one is, total restrictive procurement process. And what it is that if you have a job to build an aeroplane now in Nigeria, and you have only one person who had built that kind of aeroplane, you can, call him to negotiate with the person, and then, give the job to the person. And of course, you have to consider what such plane is being built outside the country, and then bring the cultural, factor and the location factor into play. And so, when we were to do this coastal highway, we looked at who is the person working with Mr. President when he was governor of Lagos State, who tamed the Atlantic Ocean. And I'm sure you are aware that before then, the Atlantic Ocean was, it had almost taken over the entire VI. And it was a very terrible situation because I was working as a young engineer then, building a lot of houses for, clients in the Lekki Peninsula. And I used to know that, one particular bank was, swallowed in such occasion. And so we looked at who is that company that tamed the Atlantic Ocean and turned the menace into Greece, where we have a wonderland that could be compared to Dubai, the Eco-Atlantic. And what came to our mind was high-tech. And so we now invited high-tech under restrictive procurement for sections 1 and 2. And that's what we did. And I had ran the value for money, and I had made it clear that a kilometer, cost 4 billion. But if you look at the cost, of the coastal highway and compare it to the cost of some of the heritage projects, like the LMA we are constructing, 30 kilometers, 156 billion. Supposed to be done with 2 plies of asphalt, the binder and the wearing. But we came on board and redesigned it. And today we have 1 full carriageway completed on reinforced concrete pavement at the same cost. And so work is ongoing on the 2nd carriageway. Okay. So I can beat my chest and say, look, the LMA costs more, the Abuja Kano costs more, as inherited, the Bodo Boni costs more as inherited, and yet this goes down. But let me say something about high-tech.
Can I come in here?
Yeah, just a second.
Quickly. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you talk about the contractor, and I can tell you this, they are not just contractors, they are development partners in this country. I recall that when we had problem in the Independence Bridge, working all through the night, I called them. They were the one that supply all the materials we use in that Independence Bridge to restore it, and they did not ask for a kobo. When we have problem in Itodu-Okpana intervention, it's the same company that we called. And when you see the equipment they parade, you put together all the construction companies in this country, and I bet you that the equipment of this high-tech, they have the capacity to engage this coastal highway in more than 10 sections at the same time, working by the level of their competence, the engineers they parade, and the equipment they.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Kenobi, you heard the Mame Water, sorry, you heard the taming of the Atlantic Ocean on now, so that you don't be saying at my mouth to hear her. And you also hear the part of flood. Say you don't do Lagos for a long time. Me, somebody like me, that JJC now been a Port Harcourt from come. So maybe the time we flood, we won't finish the whole of Victoria Island, and I then come control and we make the come use and build a fantastic eco-Atlantic city for us. So I'd like you to jump in on it. He said quite interesting stuff though. The fact that some contractors will wait for you to mobilize them before they get into site. But these particular people can deliver on their duties without looking for mobilization. And that's a good thing. So let me take your opinion, sir. As a Lagos boy that you are. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted, sir.
Right. Sorry about that.
It's okay, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Very well. Crystal clear. Guys, don't forget to like and share, please. Thank you.
Look.
And subscribe.
Sometimes I feel a bit ashamed of, being in a country that are run by this type of persons. I feel a bit ashamed, and it bothers me so much that this is the kind of person. You see, this kind of attitude. And you see, again, I go back to our culture. This culture of Kabiesi, you know, a king cannot be questioned. A king is bigger than any and everybody around him. It's the same culture that we introduce into governance. All right? Where when even they speak as if they are doing you a favor. If you compare these public officers and the journalists that even ask them questions, okay? When these same people go abroad, I'm trying to build some kind of background before I come into what is going on. When these same people go abroad and a CNN staff or BBC staff or Sky News or any of those foreign, journalists ask them questions, they quiver. You see them, you know, they don't have time to think. They will say things on the spot. They will give answers because they won't even let you breathe. The questions they're asking you are the things you're supposed to know, not the things that will give you like some kind of upfront question of what you're going to be asked. It pains me. Look at what the minister was explaining. First and foremost, he lied about, I've been on the island for at least close to 40 years.
Now, wait to make me ask you, because you may be, in fact, those may water they may be used to.
When we were in school, I schooled in Victoria Island, right? When we were in school. Okay, so yeah, I mean, because the past government didn't know what living around the coastal line is. Okay, you know, the idea of us handing over the things that human beings are supposed to put thinking into, bring out ideas that would, you know, proffer solutions to a human problem. We will leave it to God. So they allowed water was, you know, the water that comes to the bank kept, you know, reducing the land, kept reducing, chopping until it got close to the road. Nothing was done. There has never been any government since Nigeria began to do anything about that. So when water surges, it gets sometimes off the road and then get into the compounds of those who were living around the Babbitt shores, right? Again, there was a bank that time called IMB.
Oh, that's the bank he's referring to.
Yes, and it was a glass house, okay? So sometimes when it surges, okay, it gets into the compound. Sometimes, you know, it gets into even 1004.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes like that, because nothing was done about it. Now, if you compare Lagos with certain cities like New York, even Hong Kong, one of the times I was landing there, the wrong way started right from like the tip of the water. I was by the window side. I left Shanghai. I was going to Hong Kong. And then a pilot was like, cabin crew taxi for landing here. And then I looked, the plane was going down. There was water by my side, water the other way. Until it landed and I heard piam, and then water was by the sides. So it's human being that built that kind of airport. The same thing in Bangkok.
Wrong way.
Do you understand? So what have we really done? Is it to call first and foremost, it was even Julius Berger that they called to, you know, more like Sanfeel, the water that was surging, just to push the water back. At some point, they gave, they included High Tech. High Tech was just a company of interest. Let me put it that way. Everybody knows, right? The Shagoris, they're in Victoria Island. Everybody knows them. They've been around here. They've been able to parley with the government of the day. They are doing what they are doing, business. It's okay. If they have the expertise, no problem. But the Minister of Works should not tell us that they have the best equipment. In fact, if you put all the construction companies together, what do they have? They have nothing. In fact, most of their the equipment that they need is because maybe if they get contract, they get money upfront to be able to buy what they need for a particular job. The companies that have been doing terrific jobs that we know, like the likes of Julius Berger's and all, is because Julius Berger, maybe they are not favored in this administration. So this whole projection of high tech, it's all about interest. But let's put that aside. I'm still coming to what the minister has said. No bank, first and foremost, was swallowed. It was a lie. And then if everybody, most people that travel to America, you will see that Lagos is like the America that we know in terms of New York. Okay, coastal line. Look at what they built. Look at how New York is seated like, this is water, this is New York. It's human being that built it. Did they make noise? No. So what are we doing that we're making noise about? As if we have done what no other person has done. This is just primary development. And that is what pains me. When people are going to the moon, you go to Canada, you go to America, you go to the UK, you will see that if you go to London now, you see that everywhere is quiet, especially the London city, from the central London to the West End, the central London where vehicles usually, before they used to charge for emission control, right? So any car that is coming into central London will have to pay money. Then if God punishes you, if they check your emission level and it passes the threshold, you're going to pay more. Now that they've started using electric cars, which of course is in tandem with the greenhouse policy, they want everywhere quiet. If you go to London now, it's so quiet, cars will be moving, you won't even hear noise because they're all electric cars. It's the same thing elsewhere in America. It's the same thing in Canada. So people are moving forward thinking, we're here. One minister is praising one construction company as if they're doing anything better. Are they vex? I beg. It's okay.
Sorry, no vex. Prince Francis Chilako, you commode the vex on anybody. Mr. Kenneth, before you go, you get one video I play about one of the and I go play that video before you go.
They say a one-eyed man is a king among the blind.
Absolutely.
And that is where we are today in this country. I find it very insulting that a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a minister that earns a salary from the tax I pay and the tax the two of you pay, would come out and begin to propagate and promote one company. If he has come out to tell me that high tech is an indigenous company, I will understand. But we know those behind high tech so far. And for a minister, you see, I won't even blame the minister. You know where my blame will start from? The National Assembly. We do not have a National Assembly. You saw when the National Assembly in Ghana, when they were scrutinizing their budget, you saw how the minister was sweating. You saw the intellectual questions backed with empirical facts that they were throwing at the minister. So if we had a National Assembly that was functional, this minister will not come out and be the one to defend high tech. That is on one side. Secondly, the minister has no right on his own to appoint a construction company that will construct the magnitude of road or highway that we want to construct. So it simply shows you that everybody is not accountable. We lack transparency, we lack accountability. And that is the problem of this government. So suddenly, Dave Umahi is telling us, Nigerians, that Julius Berger does not have the requisite experience and manpower to handle such a contract. That is what they're trying to tell us, that they do not have it. And it's so shameful. It is one of things that our ministers do. It's so shameful, the kind of things that government officials do. It is really shameful. This is really sad. But what do you expect? Yes, you don't expect anything different from a government that is all about propaganda and nothing else.
All right, sir. So before, Nigerians' phone lines are open. Let's begin to take your thoughts and reactions on the conversation that we've had this evening. In case you'd like to jump in on any of these conversations, please kindly just call us up right away. Call the number that is attached to the comment that is pinned in the comment section, right? Or you just follow the link in that comment section that posts straight to the studio, and you can join us live on the studio. So, Mr. Eno be here. He did one guy we didn't see them catch for Enugu State. Say, he talk saying he don't forget about. He need to do Western thing again. Saying don't come back to village to follow the tradition. So he can't become native doctor. So as he can't become native doctor, he go dey do, come they build house. People they look and say, this native doctor. That means our tradition they work, money dey inside. The next thing they can't find us say, I don't know what happen. Wahala can't come out. They can't bust the guy compound, and they can't find us say he did do ritual killing or whatever it is, because there are people you see a septic tank with different dead bodies. Some of them even standing while they died, showing or indicating that he may have just buried them alive in the septic tank for whatever purpose we do not know. So when they raided his house, burnt his house, he ran away, and they caught him. He was trying to boycott immigration. The night they can't catch him. So when they can't catch him, when they boycott immigration, he even tried to bribe the immigration officer. According to the statement, this is the immigration officer he tried to bribe. This is the immigration officer. I like to give you evidence. I think his name is Officer Ugochukwu. He rejected the 10 million naira and an iPhone offered to him by the Ezago of Enugu, Obieze, whatever it is his name is. So, yes. And then they paraded him and asked him why he was fleeing. And this is what he had to say. Make I tell you. There's nothing envy and jealousy cannot do in Nigeria, but I want you to see it and look at what he had to say to be sure if it's actually envy and jealousy. And then on a more serious note, let's talk about how we got to this level in this country.
Good evening.
Let's take a watch.
What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Levi Obieze.
Levi Obieze.
Yes.
You are from which state?
From Enugu State.
Where do you reside?
I reside in Benin Republic.
You reside in Benin Republic.
Yes.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a businessman.
You're a businessman.
Yes.
Where are you heading to now?
I don't know where I'm heading to right now, because they say before you will kill someone, you allow the person to talk. Do you understand? Because you were an officer, someone might say you were a killer or you were whoever you know that you are innocent. Whenever you know that you are innocent, even though they take you to hell, you will go there. The God of vengeance will still deliver you from anything.
But there's an issue on ground concerning you, huh?
An issue concerning me is a political issue, something politics, fabrication against me, because I will be next of king. So, and some people in my village don't want me to be that next of king. So they are planting evil against me front and back so that I can fall. That is the major issue. And people, PG of my village come and demolish my house.
Are you a native doctor?
No.
You're not a native doctor?
No. PG of my village come and demolish my house. So all these things are just to weak me. As I'm talking to you now, I'm homeless.
Who demolished your house?
PG of my village.
What is PG?
President General.
President General?
Yes.
As a king?
No, President General of my community.
Okay.
Yes.
So why did he demolish your house?
Because they are the one that planted something that is disturbing me.
What is that? Something like what? They planted something
they
like
planted, let me call it. They planted something, I don't know, like I'll call the guy. They planted someone, it's a young guy. The young guy, there is a way I'm building a new house. And that new house I'm building is far away from my own house where I live. So before I would go there, it's difficult. I don't go there anyhow. So then, because of this kinship issue.
Wait now. Why do they plant it in your house?
That is what I'm coming.
Is that no? Just tell me that. This is the reason. Now you are saying kinship of which meeting? Which meeting?
Let him go. Let him land.
Okay. Because of this kinship issue, they set me up.
That what do you do?
With someone that is working for them. Plant a dead person in my
compound.
Well, what they call it? Soccer pit.
Okay.
Then planted, keep it there. And I have already answered this matter. Already finished.
Wait, somebody come and put a body in your soccer away.
Yes. See
that person that is body.
They catch the guy.
Do you know the person they did?
I don't know the guy before, but they.
Wait, do you know the
No, I don't know the other one.
So what of the person that come and planted it?
Then catch it already.
Okay. Him?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that was what.
That's why I'm free.
They planted for you.
Yes.
Okay. What is your business?
I'm a businessman.
What type of business?
I sell Africa.
For where?
For Mr Eno.
Okay, and that is where you live?
That is where I live Yanawa Vodo Homes.
In Benin?
Yes.
Do you have passport?
No, I have ID card.
You don't have international passport?
No.
No airport passport?
No, just ID card.
You have another question. You have another question.
You have another question. Okay. That's it.
Okay, all right. Mr. Kenobi, now, when this man was caught, the officer that caught him said that he saw him on a bike trying to cross the border. You know, say, I don't know, I saw a border deal, where did he use Ibom Okada to cross them. So trying to cross the border, and he noticed his face because this guy's face has been all over social media. And he covered face cap, covered his face very well. So his face flashed. He tried to stop the Okada, they refused. So he entered another Okada and pursued them. And then on reaching him on the next checkpoint, he asked them to turn. At some point while they were coming back, this young man offered him 10 million. First of all, he denied that he wasn't the one in the picture circulating, that is his brother, that's the one that is native doctor, before he offered him the money and all those. I like you to react to this as but before you react, let me just take this call. Someone has been on my line. Hello, good evening and welcome, sir. Sir?
How are you, my dear?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Very quickly.
I greet the guest in the house, my dear Oga and Uncle Chilaka, the man with the talk truth, and Mika.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, God bless you.
Thank
you. I'll be brief because of a lot of things is going on. Number one, about the governor's daughter. Among me, you, my uncle Chilaka and Ekene Obi, is there any outsider that can tell us about our mother? An outsider.
Yeah. Mr. Ekene don't even know about my mama reach me.
No, baby. No, I'm not talking of your own mother. I'm talking of me, my mother, your mother, Ekene mother, and my big brother's mother. Can an outsider tell us about our mother? Mother will carry us for belly, give us breast, look this up.
It's not possible.
You know what I'm saying this? I'm saying this? When that video came out, my uncle Chilaga said, before you know it now, these people, the handlers, they will be quiet. They don't know what to say until after 3 or 4 days before they will now say, oh, this girl is she's insane. She doesn't know what she's doing, or she's under duress or whatever. Look, that girl get evidence. If they try that, you'll see what will happen. That girl gets strong evidence before she come out. Because before she come out, something is underneath. She don't bear that thing. Which is like, she don't feel bear them again. That's why she had to come out. That's number one. Then number two, my brother Kenneth said about the fear. When you talk about protests and all that, he said because the problem of Nigerians and the Nigerians. After that, before you remember sometime when I called, I said now we be the problem of ourselves. Fear, that fear when they catch us. You see in Kenya, I want to give an example between Kenya people and lion. Do you know that Kenya people, the people that works in this their reserve with lion, tigers, and whatever, you see them following tigers and lions all around. But can we try that in Nigeria? We cannot. Because you know why? Those guys, they don't remove fear from their body if they face lion one-on-one. And you know, lion is so sensible. When it jam a human being, you will first of all censor that human being if that person is afraid. If you can be bold enough to stand, lion know if he attack you. But when you are afraid, you know, the lion don't say you the fear. That is when he will come and attack you. But we know say Nigerians, we too fear. Because the 10 naira we will get, we will know, 10 naira we will go manage, we will go survive. That's one apart. Then number 3, I want to follow up with Keneto. See, I live in the island for like 20 years. I started life when I was young. Immediately I finished secondary school. Because of the kind of life we live, my mother said, no, this boy, you don't go live here in a ghetto. We grew up in a ghetto in Nigeria. So 1994, my mother took me away, turned me over to somebody. I got a job in there. I live in Olosa, in opposite the Kote. Olosa for 20 years. So when watch Minister Umahi was talking about high tech, I swear the president does not have who asked you? Did anybody ask you that? We know the relationship between both of them. But let's not go beyond, just like I can say, well, whatever happens, just a business deal. It's making some, a business. So if everybody comes say, high tech is this. Who know high tech? High tech is all doing every. Go and check the record. High tech is all handling all Lagos projects. So who's in charge of Lagos? People don't even enter Southwest States. And you say high tech. Can you compare high tech and Julius Berger? Or even this Italian company, Carbato. It's not possible. We know all these things, but people just keep quiet. We can address my case. People don't take too much time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. So, Mr. Kenobi, you were saying something. Let me let you finish. Drop that thoughts on what you were saying.
Yeah. So the okay. So evil is very rife.
How did we get this? How did he get this bad? What is wrong with us?
Yeah. So evil is very rife these days. Evil. You know, somebody said jokingly the other day that before, if you want to find Mami water in local parlance, the way we call it, you go inside water, appease to Mami water and all of that. If you want to find other forms of spirit, you can go to graveyards, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these days, those elements have left those zones, and they've all come out overland to rent houses. They are no longer there. Mami waters are no longer inside water or underwater. Graveyards are empty. Spirits come out and they rent house like you and I, become people's neighbors and stuff like that. If you look at that guy's face, sometimes you see that police, profile some people. When you look at that guy's face, you will know that he's not a normal person. Having said that, the things you see happen today.
Through the structure on crime reporting.
Say that again?
I said you can actually profile people through the official structure. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you look at that guy, the things he was saying, the way he looks and all, I'm not giving indictment to how God created him, but the way he talks and behaves, you will know that there is something untoward about that guy. You understand? And again, things happen like this because you have a society where anything can really happen. A whole lot has been happening in the Nigerian community, Nigerian environment, all in a quest to be rich. And people's idea of making money is about hitting it big. That ideology, that type of mentality is so crazy that nobody, because people are not taught how to, make money from the scratch, go through processes. They just want to hit it big. And because, again, we've lost a society where people don't question people anymore. I remember those days. If anybody makes any kind of money, people will question, how did this person make this money? You understand? They are not interested in the outcome of what you've done. They're interested in how did you get here? We used to know you. We used to know your father. We used to know your mother. We know where you're coming from. How did he make it big? So fast forward to the kind of society that we have now. People kind of worship money. They don't care the process through which the person made it. All they know is the outcome. And you know, there is difference between event and outcome. Event and outcome is what you're doing now versus what you're going to get. Now, if somebody is not doing anything and all of a sudden the person is driving a Mercedes, the person is building a house or houses, and then because people are inherently poor now, because poverty in Nigeria is a weapon that they've used to punish those who do not understand what life is. And then they too keep regenerating by giving birth to children who will understand or who will see the environment and see their parents as, look, oh, we are poor. What am I going to do? And now falsehood have been sold to people to let them know that ritualism is a way out of poverty. And you see how much they've embraced it. So question is, it's not about who has in mind to do bad like this guy did. It's about the society who has over time accepted this kind of behavior as a way. Nobody, when we were young, they used to tell us, even in the things we read in books, that Africans lived communal life, where everybody's business is everybody's concern, right? People live together, they want to know what you're doing. But today's reality of African life, you will find that individualism is so rife. You can live in a compound where you don't even know what your next door neighbor is doing, and you don't care. So it's gotten to that level where, you know, people need to begin to again ask questions. What is an African style? Because in comparison to what Africans used to tout themselves to as the way they live, compared to the way the white man, you know, used to live. That white man, okay, agreed that they're a bit individualistic, but inside that individualism, they also have concerns for community. Okay, if you get into a bus in London, you will see where they say, if you say something, say something. So everybody is concerned about their own community. Everybody, if a new person comes into a community, the system knows. When my wife went to England in 2004, yeah, when she came into the community where she wanted to live, as soon as she came in, rented a house, the Population Commission sent her a form in her own box to welcome her. How did they know? It's the system that knows. The community, the neighbors know that a new person has come in. So this is how things work. In Africa, me and you know that people will live in six block of flats in a building. Nobody will know anybody for years. You wouldn't even know who your neighbor or what your neighbor does. If he's a kidnapper or whatever it is that he does, everybody is minding their business as if that's the way to live. So that's why these kind of things will continue to happen in communities where we can't really detect them, except the person run out of luck. So two things are troubling there. One is the mentality of people's idea of looking for money and how they make the money. And then society's collective silence about how people make money, and then the way they also worship the money. So what they look at is the outcome. Do you understand? This guy ran out of luck. If they check people around him too, you will see that many people are living the same kind of life. People are misbehaving and all of that. So he kind of ran out of luck. But, you know, it's about time we began to look into the lives, the way we live. You understand? Going forward. And yeah, that's just all I have to say. A whole lot is happening in the community and in our country. And like I said, nothing you can use to define Africa now. The sanctity of Africanness that used to be before has been broken. There is nothing about African anymore that you can really define in one sentence and say, this is where Africa stands. This is where Nigeria stands. You understand? Everything is all about money. How you made it, nobody cares. It's just about the outcome. And, you know, people with their poverty mentality and all of that can accept anything these days. So we've lost it from every corner, you know, and it's a pity that this is the kind of life that we're living.
Thank you. All right, I've got someone on the line. Hello, good evening, and welcome.
Oh, thank you. Can I go ahead now?
Yes, go ahead, sir. Remind us your name and where you're calling from, please.
Oh, I'm Architect Lucky, calling from Germany.
You're welcome, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I just want to contribute to what we're saying.
Go ahead,
I have a very little serious question, and that has to do with why are the politicians not restricted to age limit like every other civil servant if they are supposed to be public servants? I don't think any politician should be older than the retirement age of the country. That is one. That is part of our problems. Because if octogenarians and septuagenarians are ruling the country, I don't see what they're going to offer. That's in the first place. Then the second one, that is very, very, I think is most tragic to our situation in Nigeria, is that we are in 2025, I'm talking about 2027, it's like celebrating Christmas in May. So who knows? I pray they all live long, but supposing they don't survive till 2027, one of them passes away. Will they be talking about the same politics? They have caught the rest people unprepared because everybody is now turning only to one side. Then the country itself, it's time, I think, people should be bold enough, even in the House, to offer a referendum to see if we can be separated. At least Sudan got separated from South Sudan and Sudan. We could do the same so that we all have peace and know how to live. There are countries in Europe, around the world, that the population is not up to a state in the country there. And they live well. Sweden is not as big. Liechtenstein is not as big. Luxembourg is not as big. There are not more than 2 million people. And they are a country. What are we afraid of? This has continuously given us problems in that country. Somebody should be bold enough and talk about restructuring instead of fighting for which region, which tribe, which religion rules. We're all tired. There are so many Nigerians in diaspora, much people, and we cannot come home because we have no home to come to. I joined a building Abuja when it was a bush jungle. I started from the DCP, today called Gariki. I know everywhere. I started from there after
Thank you, sir.
Till I'm abroad. Please, let's talk to people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right. Prince Francis Chilaka, would you like to react to him, or I should just perhaps give a response?
No. I want to join in on the last topic Kene was talking about.
Okay, so let me quickly react to the guest. So for what the guest is saying, the only way whatever he's saying can be visible is through National Assembly. In terms of age limits, in terms of age limit for politicians, in terms of referendum and all that, which is not in our constitution, deliberately omitted in our constitution. So it's a problem. So if those things are not perhaps legislatively amended, then we're just beating about the bush around the bush. We can't achieve anything. So that's just a simple response or reaction to that. Go ahead, sir. As we wrap
for
up.
me, the major problem we have in Nigeria today is materialism. Everything in Nigeria is all about money, materialism. People need to show off their wealth. Between a husband and wife, love in Nigeria today is transactional. Between a husband and wife, yes, it's everything has become so transactional that people have.
I don't agree.
People have lost. Please,
no.
Precious, it is my opinion. Let me finish. Let me finish. There's a lot of transactional relationship going on, and this has crept into every sphere of our lives. So what you see that played out in Enugu is not new. It's been going on. And like Ekene said, a country where we do not question how people got their wealth. When I was growing up, you know, my late dad, you can't come back home with a pen that belongs to somebody else into his house.
Not possible.
You will beat her. Even the voice, just hearing his voice, you will run away and go and look for the owner. So we were.
Abi, they go check your school bag when you don't know. When you sleep, then they search your
So
school
we were
bag.
brought up. We were brought up to know what it means to be contented. But today, people are not contented. A lot of parents are not contented. You see a student, maybe first year, second year university, with an iPhone that is costing 1 million, and the mother or father will not question. You see people, they want to go out to a party, they want to show themselves, and this mentality of spraying money at parties, this is where all this nonsense started from. You see your mate you went to university with, all of a sudden, he's a multi-millionaire, he has no job, he hasn't been worked, he hasn't done any work. And you see those who didn't go to school, the same thing. So a society that does not question the wealth of its citizens would end up having this kind of situation. Our political class have not helped the matter. You see somebody living with you in the same compound, he becomes a councillor. In 6 months' time, he has moved out from that place to a highbrow area. He has bought several cars. He has acquired so many properties. What is he doing? How much does he earn as a councillor? How much does he earn as a local government chairman? This impunity of lack of accountability and lack of transparency is the bane of our problem. And then coupled with the fact that suddenly, I don't know how we got into that mindset that has refused to leave us as a people. Suddenly people believe that there is what they call ritual money. That you can kill somebody and you can use somebody to make money. And then I asked them, I've asked this question severally. That herbalist that lives in the bush, that is going to make you rich, is it that he doesn't like the luxuries of life? Is it that he doesn't want to live out of the bush and live in the city? So before now, when we talk about herbalists, we talk about people who live in the bush. But today, the herbalists we talk about, they're even on the internet. They're carrying computers. They're all over the place. So people have become so engrossed in occult and cultism, and nobody's questioning it. So it is high time. See, let me tell you this. If you listen to that young man or whatever he wants to call himself talk, you will know that this is somebody who already knows that he has been caught. And then all of a sudden, if you have issues in your community with the union, with the town union, and you know that somebody went to plant corpse or plant a dead body in your compound, what were you supposed to do?
Not dead bodies in this case, or bodies.
I'm coming. What were you supposed to do? Is it not go to the police? So for you to run, any man that is on the run already has committed that offense. So where are you running to? You want to cross the border to disappear. And then the next thing the man has succeeded in disappearing or succeeded in passing the border, he will stay wherever he is and start telling you that it is the juju or the oracle that transported him from Enugu to Benin Republic. And then before you know it, he goes into that Benin Republic and starts a new conclave. Because people will not see him as a man who disappears in the midst of problem. I am happy that he has been arrested, and I am happy that he didn't disappear. I am happy that even with the handcuffs, they were able to put handcuffs on him, so he didn't vanish. But see, this is what we need to tell ourselves. It's the bitter truth. There is nothing as good as hard work. Nothing surpasses hard work. And this is a message to the younger generation of Nigerians. We need to embrace hard work.
It's not even about younger generation. Let me add to what you're saying, Prince Chilaka. To support what you've just said, yeah? I think this has become a national problem. If you come to the UK, right, the UK Parliament, they made, there's a legislation that covers what the government termed as unexplained wealth. It's in their law book. If you're living above your means, the government, you can be arrested, can be questioned, and then you bring out your paychecks where you work versus the way you're living. If it's not in tandem, if it doesn't correlate, you don't buy problem. So this has become a national problem. And again, I talked about the fact that when we were growing up, these things were culturally monitored, religiously monitored, and all of that kind of stuff. Now that it has gone beyond that level, okay, the nation called Nigeria, the country called Nigeria, should be able to take over and actually put it in in our legislative book. But again, who is going to do it? Because I mean, people in government have questionable wealth that you can't even trace. It's those who their hands have been soiled into this whole murky water, all right? Or who are standing inside the murky water. Are they the ones that are going to make legislations to be able to catch when their own wealth are questionable? So we have a big problem on our hands. And that's more reason why these guys are, like he just said, it's not even about the young people alone. If we talk about young people are only mirroring the things the older people are doing. If you talk about advanced free fraud, which otherwise you call 419, the ones at the that are entrusted with our public wealth are doing even bigger ones. Nobody's questioning them.
I was going to go there. I was actually going to go there. Yes, Mr. Kenobi, because earlier in the
because
week,
again they're doing it, and then the younger ones are mirroring them. So you see a guy. There's this guy around my estate. You get what I mean? The guy is a young man, with dread and tattoos all over. This guy, I was told, has a coffin in his room. That's where he sleeps. So wherever he got his money from, they said the guy has like 2 pillows inside the coffin. So his own punishment is to sleep inside that coffin at any point in time. If he sleeps anywhere outside of that coffin, he's going to die from there. So, they give them different punishment on what to observe until they die. Any day they make that mistake of. So that's why you see the trend of, people buying Mercedes. All of a sudden, I'm selling cars. I'm a car dealer. And then you see, before, in the early 90s up to 2000 and on like that, white cars, when we import them, people don't buy them.
Yeah, because
they change the color to either black or blue, the colors that people normally buy. All of a sudden, white cars became the trendy thing. All right? Became quite trendious. And then everybody, all of a sudden, I'm asking, white clothes, white cars, everybody started changing their cars. So car dealers even started changing their cars to white because white was the latest attraction to those. I don't know what the demand is. Everybody started buying white cars. So that is the core, and nobody's asking questions. So you see somebody who didn't even go to school, who hasn't done any job in his life, he hasn't even applied for any job. All of a sudden, he's in money. If you do anything with him, it's just a soft life. You see him wear a short knicker, white socks, or whatever color of socks, put some kind of bag across his neck with dread and tattoo. He hasn't done any job in his life. But when you do anything with him, like if he tells you, come and furnish my house, or I want to buy this, all he will ask you is, give me your account details. If it's 100 million, if it's 50 million, he's transferring the money. He's not even asking you questions. He doesn't drag about anything. And then people are not asking questions.
You know,
Man.
I you know what?
Okay, go ahead, sir. Go
Sorry?
ahead, sir. I wanted to
I started a little bit of investigation on this matter. I started talking to quite a number of people. And I've been speaking to somebody who is a water goddess. So they, and the thing the person has told me in the last 24 hours is mind-blowing.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you. So those of us who have kids still in this country, we need to really educate our daughters, especially our daughters. There's a lot going on out there. There's a lot going on. The young boys you see out there, driving big cars and all of that. If you know what a lot of them are doing, you will run.
Crazy.
I'm telling you the truth. You will run from them. There are some young boys, I'm told, that don't sleep at night. They must be at a club from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. They dare not sleep.
Agreed.
Every day of their life. So there's a lot that is going on in our society. So this is where I think and I believe that the National Assembly should come and make laws. They should be able to, because, see, I know that if we begin to talk about investigating the wealth of a lot of people in Nigeria, a lot of our politicians will not go scot-free.
All right, so that's exactly what I wanted to speak about, initially before we wrap up the conversation, because earlier in the week or over the weekend, the EFCC chairman had an interview with TVC, and in that interview, he did say quite a lot of stuff. I mean, apart from the fact that he spoke about why they are yet to arraign Tom Polo for destroying the Naira. He did say some stuffs about the youths and why they are coming heavily or clamping down heavily on supposed Yahoo boys. However, there were a few things I expected him to touch, because for us to get the solution to any problem, we'll have to trace the root of that problem. Shebi, now one philosopher talks say, the realization of a problem helps you get the root of the root of the problem, the solution. Yeah. So let's quickly play that video. Let's hear what
We've had them Nigeria. The whole Nigerians know that, and we said there's no one that is above the law. Nobody should go and condemn Tom Polo for the allegation. It's a mere allegation for now. So when he comes, we will look at it. We have subjected the video to forensic analysis, because we have to do that. Because these days, too, people can impose, but we have subjected it. We have invited him. Not until we conclude the case. We cannot say Tom Polo is guilty or not. We must give every Nigerian fair hearing. Yahoo boys, that has become a major issue in Nigeria. There are people often accusing EFCC. There are people stealing mega money, and all of you are not seeing them. You are the only people that you can run after. You are ready. It's Yahoo. I want Nigerians to know that we are having crisis on our hands. It's actually a crisis situation. My brother, today, if you travel abroad with your green passport, stand in the queue among so many people, you will discover that by the time you present your green passport, the people will look at you with some reservation. That's if they don't take you aside to carry out special scrutiny on you. That is a national shame that some young Nigerians have caused for us. I go out to interact with my counterparts abroad, to interact with government agencies in the course of tracing money and recovering assets. And there are things that it will be difficult for you to defend. They see these things on social media. Now, having said that, yes, a lot of foreigners come to use the identity of Nigerians. I want to tell Nigerians, this Yahoo thing we are talking about is a crisis. Just 2 days ago, we arrested over 120 Nigerians, young men. People don't believe, these young men don't believe in hard work anymore. Sir, I'm from a state where education is our pride. I'm from a state where the major enterprise we have is education. If you go to the secondary school that I attended now, sir, by 12 noon, the students have left school. In secondary school, you see them in hotels, in groups, trying to scam people. You see secondary school students driving vehicles. Are those the people who want to hand over Nigeria to? Is that the nation we want to build? Now, sir, let me tell you the most dangerous aspect of it. It's not just about Yahoo. Nigerians should know this. These guys, some of them are into banditry. We have evidence. We have proofs. to do that. Some of them are into kidnapping. Yes, because when they know they don't see people to scam on time, they go to kidnap. It is there. It is in the news. People know. This is the work we do. People know. Some of them now they launder money for the politically exposed persons. So don't just see them as Yahoo boys anymore. The traditional way of stealing money is no longer applicable. When they steal government money in billions now, they give it to all these boys. They open cryptocurrency wallet, crypto wallet, and they put the money there. From there, the money goes abroad. You can buy a house, you can buy vehicles, and buy anything with your Bitcoin. So most of these politically exposed persons now identify these boys. They put them in hotel and they open accounts for them. They share this money among them. They change it to dollar and they move it abroad. So Nigerians should not just look at us looking. No, it's much more than that. As a matter of fact, there was a 22-year-old boy that we arrested. Within 18 months, we saw a turnover of over 5 billion naira in his account. A young boy who has never worked in his life, who has no legitimate means of livelihood.
22
over 5 billion naira within 18 months, a turnover. So we brought him in, and we discovered that a lot of money for politically exposed people. The matter is under investigation. The guy is in one of our facilities. So ordinarily you will see him with maybe we have dreadlock. You say it's just a Yahoo boy. They should leave them. It's just you both that they are scamming $10. No, sir. It's a major crisis. They use them to steal government money now, mostly. A lot of them commit. A lot of them do ritual killing. They use our Nigerians. Would they say they don't know that? They use all these our young girls. They do ritual killing. If you get to one of my offices, I will mention. If you get to my exhibit room now, you'll see a black pot that we have there with human hair. One of them that we arrested under his bed, we brought out a black pot with human hair. Forensic evidence has proved that it was human hair. And these are the people Nigerians that say, leave them. As a matter of fact, what they are doing is not just Yahoo. They are also involved in mega cybercrime.
Okay, so well, quite a lot of stuff that you guys touched about the ritual killing, the ritualing, and all the ritualist or spiritualism, whatever it is. He also touched on it, but I was very worried that somebody who is the head of a crime agency in Nigeria did not bother to mention about the cause of that crime. Should be not be when they get the cause of problem, then they go find out the solution to the problem. I'm coming, sir. Sorry, sir. So ordinarily, we would have started tracing it by how did this trend even start? Because many would say that the politicians today gave rise to what is happening today. Before they became politicians, who were they? Who knew them? If politicians can become politicians and begin to make money from nowhere and get rich all of a sudden, then why not also check on their source of wealth? Just like Mr. Kenobi said that they will check your salary vis-a-vis in UK, vis-a-vis your lifestyle, and then they will query you. In fact, he even mentioned here the fact that these people even launder money for politicians. So instead of you to hold the politicians where they launder money for, now the people where they launder, that is the politicians where they thief our money, give to them. Instead of you to hold them. Now the people where they help them launder the money, then you do hold. I am a bit worried about that. With this kind of attitude, are we really sure we're ready to fight crime? Prince Francis, I know you can't wait to talk. Kindly talk fast so that we end.
Yeah, Precious.
Thank you,
Precious.
sir.
Let me start from where you asked the question. How did we get to this place? How did we get into this situation we are in?
Mm-hmm.
We have a political system, or we have an electoral law that does not empower INEC to investigate those who are contesting for offices. We have electoral system where you rather put up the logo of a party as against the logo of the candidate. You have an electoral system that those who are contesting will do whatever it takes to win the election. And when they get into power, nobody questions whatever they do. You and I have heard severally when people get arrested and taken to the police station, even some police people have come out to speak about it, that they will just receive a call from a higher authority asking them to release the suspect. So the EFCC chairman or DG has simply indirectly told you the limitations of why they are not able to prosecute these politicians. And this is where the problem lies. You have governors who did 8 years in their states. They had nothing to show for all the money they collected for those 8 years. And what do they do after those 8 years? They retire to the Senate. And they become senators. And nobody probes them. Nobody asks them questions. With the family itself, the families are broken down. The families have been bastardized. And this is a major issue because all these people we call politicians, they come from families. So nobody is checking the children. Nobody is checking the parents. No, the society has gone bonkers. Well, I believe I can also say this on, talking about tech, and I'm sure when we were growing up, the community was involved in training us. You see a child, you coming back from school and your uniform is dirty. You just hear somebody on the road who will pick a cane and flog you. Today, you cannot do the same. Today, the teachers we have in schools cannot punish the children. Because if they do it, the parents will go for war. Our culture, our tradition that binds us together has been bastardized. Our religious institutions have not helped the matter. When I was growing up, what you see them preach in the churches then was morality. Today, what are the religious institutions preaching? They are even the brains behind this corruption we have in the system. Because they are preaching tithes, they are preaching offering, they are preaching prosperity, they are preaching healing. So nobody is preaching morality. Nobody is spending time to teach the younger generation the right thing to do.
And meanwhile, religion was supposed to be an offshoot of morality.
Exactly. So today you have a lot of broken homes, which is not helping the matter. And the way we treat the girl child in this country needs to change. A young boy will go and impregnate a lady. They will withdraw the girl from school and allow the boy to continue. And you think that these things will not have an effect? Today you have a lot of young girls all over the place, runs girls. What kind of mentality is that? You have your political class carrying younger children that are their daughters' age mates. And they are proudly doing it. And the money they steal from government, the ones they give to Yahoo boys to take abroad, they keep the ones they give to their side chicks. So there's a big problem. Our educational system has been bastardized. So we need to go back to the basics. We need to declare a state of emergency in the way we live in this country. Or else we won't have a country, we won't have a future. The future that Mr. President is talking about, the unborn Nigerians, will be a mirage. So these are the areas that the National Assembly should wake up. The National Orientation Agency should wake up. Things are going south on a daily basis. And we're all smiling. We all think it is well. It is not well. The way things are going on in this country, it is not well. So I want to appeal to parents. Please. Things are tough, yes. Life is hard, yes. But you must nurture your children so that they can become good leaders of tomorrow. This get-rich-quick syndrome, we need to curb it. Materialism, we need to curb it. Oju kokoro, if na Yoruba, Anyuku, we need to curb it.
Thank you, sir.
People must learn to live within their means. It is very, very important.
All right. Thank you. So, as I said again, you didn't address the point I was noting on. What about the politicians who brandish this wealth? Who was not brandishing wealth until he became a senator? Now, as he becomes senator, he go pose, he go
He
just go enter one of his car now.
detention people.
He go pose, he
detention
detention
people.
people. So that
No,
is it.
and precious.
I'm sorry,
I
sir.
said something. No, I said something. And I said it. I said, let me be very honest with you. The crop of people we have in the National Assembly today, most of them are criminals. Most of them have never worked in their lives. And this was as a result of when we were transcending from military rule. As at that time, a lot of Nigerians did not believe that that Salah was going to hand over. And so people were not, the people who should actually have come out there to contest election didn't want to come out. They didn't want to associate themselves. They felt it was all a joke. So you just had a set of criminals, a set of Yahoo people coming out to contest elections. And they are the reasons why we are where we are today.
Take this call. Hello, good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening, Precious. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. What's your name, sir, and where are you calling from?
It's Chidi. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Okay, go ahead, sir. United States. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So today's our Memorial Day. Distracted small. Biafra Memorial Day.
Oh, okay. I think say now on a June memorial for US. One no vex. Well done.
Okay. So I just had my own comment to be on the value system, because a lot of things you talked about, and your guests were on how why people behave the way they behave, and then there was a way we used to behave, when you talk about the African context,
our value system generally.
Yeah, before
our values before they came.
Before the Europeans came, and then there's a way we now behave, post our encounter with them. So the thing is that I would say that our value system and our behavioral pattern has gotten worse. Because when they came before, I think that was this European who one of the explorers that said he went across Africa. He did not see one person that was hungry and poor, because of the way people lived in their communal, societies. Like people, if you had a land, you found it for everybody.
Yes.
But by the time, with capitalism and all the things they brought, they changed the way and it's like we now took it to the extreme. Now we now became like extremely selfish, self-centered. But I have to say that. So I worked in Abuja for 1 year. So I studied in the East, but I worked in Abuja for 1 year, and before I left the country, and that was an eye opener to how ostentatious the Nigerian politicians live.
Mm-hmm.
I remember because then I was working in one hospital as a young doctor. So my salary was so small. It was a missionary hospital. So my salary was so small. I was barely surviving. But when you go to places like Maitama and Asoko, you just see money. So it got to a point where I had to remove my stethoscope from my small car I had then, because I became ashamed. I was just like, what's the point of being identified as a physician? You can't afford anything. So when you go to Abuja, you see that thing. You see so many people. There are so many. Then we used to say things like Abuja has so many houses without anybody, and there are so many people in Abuja that don't have a place to lay their head.
But there are empty houses without people living in them.
Exactly, that wide contrast. I knew so many youth couples there that just didn't have any place.
So it was like poverty and affluence living side by side, face to face.
Exactly. I knew so many youth couples then that came into Abuja, they didn't have any place to stay, and then with their poultry, the poultry allowance they give them. So now let me ask, if you come to Abuja, let me say for instance, your Abuja is where you're launching this thing, you see the way people live, you see the way the politicians live, you see, and then you get an opportunity. Really? Are you telling these young people to be moderate, to be modest?
Thank you. Thank you, Chidi. Let's just end it here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So I would like to perhaps well, while I take your parting shot, but I'd like to go back to what Peter Obi had said once, that once the top shows sincerity of purpose and honesty, it trickles down. And I do very well believe in that. Um, if I were a mother today, I would like to tell myself that I must lead by example. You know, the thing about these days children, they're not the way we grew up. Oh, that's maybe you know, say those days they go chase you for school because of say you no pay school fees. And your neighbor go ask you, say, Junior, come here, why you no go school? Say, I know they feel too well, I'm not feeling too well, right? That's what you say. These days, your child don't go school because of school fees. I ask you, Junior, why didn't you go to school? My mom and my dad did not pay my school fees. That's what they will answer you. Because kids these days are bold. You understand? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the kids will have these days copy what you do and not just what you say. And they have the guts to ask you, I'm mistaken, I'm sure your daughter will ask you, but daddy, why? When you tell her something. But why? And the boldness in their face that they will ask you, now look at this jobless individual. Now me we born you, they ask me why. Do you understand? Because they are
Yeah.
much more inquisitive and all that than us. So
Yeah,
because
because
of that,
the world is global now.
it has changed. So
The
it is
world is
our
global.
yes, it is our responsibility to lead by example. So it falls back to leadership. And I think, and that's why I'm worried that the EFCC head did not even blame the leaders. It is hurting or hurtful, however you want to describe it. It's even embarrassing that a crime fighter did not look for the root of the crime itself and say, these people take your own, collect your own part of the blame. And even in their
And
modus operandi, in the way they even treat the politicians when they commit crime versus how they treat a common man when they commit crime. There's so
See,
much
you
disparity.
you
So what are we
cannot.
talking about?
Yeah, you
Go
cannot.
ahead.
I remember just in a quick whatever. Let me just throw this in. Those who were investigating the murder of Bola Ige. I remember when they interviewed Wole Soyinka, Professor Wole Soyinka, and he simply gave it back to them. He made a very, very troubling statement, which again, if you look at it either way, it happens to be the truth. He said, quote, those who killed Bola Ige are the same people who have set out to look for the killers of Bola Ige. So how can you find the killers?
Okay.
That said,
shop.
now
Church
you
don't
just
close
talked
to that.
about EFCC. Why do you think the man at the saddle would have to disgrace or challenge those who employed him? You see, I talked about politicking, politics and what do you call it? Politics and governance. The problem with Africa, also in Nigeria, is the fact that we have not been able to separate politics from governance. So what we do is to carry politics into governance. So when we get in there, a particular party wins election, they get in there. All the institutions of government, be it ministries, agencies, whatever, that are supposed to have separate laws that guides their institution and are supposed to act independent of whoever that employed them, right, are not functioning, because what you have is again a pyramidal kind of situation where everything cascades from the top to down. That's why things are not functioning. You look at the police department, you look at the EFCC department, they cannot function. Why? Because everybody will have to look at the body language of the president. Okay? They have the mandate to perform based on their laws and functionality, but they will not. So, in a nutshell, EFCC chairman cannot challenge those who put him there.
Okay.
And that's how Nigeria runs. And it's a problem for any country, any government. They will never function. And there will never be any kind of progress. Right? Chasing shadows and what they are doing is not like chasing shadows. They are doing the right thing on the side. But the bigger problems, the elephant in the room, nobody's addressing it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenobi. I take that as a parting shot, or you would like to say something else, Mr. Francis Silakasa, Prince Francis. Would you like to say something? That's your parting
Well,
shot.
what my parting shot is reaching out to the Nigerian youths. We can't keep doing same thing day in, day out and expecting a different result. We need to, on our own, individually change our mindset. Even though I know that a lot of Nigerian youths look up to what is happening with the political class in their way of life. They're looking up to the political class. They're looking up to those who own businesses. They're looking up to those who run universities. They're looking up to those who run our elections. You know, every day, in every election year, after the elections, before and after the elections, we chastise those who have conducted the elections. Just like you have the professor that the case has been going back and forth and all of that. So Nigerian youth, yes, Nigerian youth are looking at it. You cannot punish a man for helping somebody to commit a crime, and you allow the person that they committed the crime for to be benefiting from the crime that has been committed.
To even be the big boss.
So what kind of justice system is that?
No, but Prince Francis, let's not mix this up. This is not for this particular election. That judgment was for
it doesn't matter. Was he punished for that election? If you precious, if you are jailing somebody for a crime that he committed for somebody and the person benefited, don't you think that that punishment should be for the two people? The way we do administer justice in this country is also a big problem. It's a big problem. So I'm appealing to the youths, please, hard work pays. Embrace hard work. Forget what your political class are doing. Embrace hard work so that we can have a better society for ourselves, for our children, and for our children yet unborn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Kene, would you like to add a bit of topping to the icing?
Yeah. He said it all, but let me add to what he has said. The reason why we in our own generation couldn't also do bad, right? Our parents were teaching us, because when we look back, we saw that our parents were living those kind of moral lives. It helped us to conform, right? Today's child, like you said, looks at who is speaking versus who is acting. So you tell a child, let's say government announces, don't steal, don't defraud the nation, don't defraud individuals. But they see those same people who are supposed to be the custodian or in charge of our laws doing the worst. What do you expect the child to do? So
exactly.
That's all. Exactly. Let's walk there.
So if we want to fight crime, perhaps we need to look into the mirror. We need to look at
what
the
are
mirror.
You saying? You see a father who is smoking and you're telling a child not to smoke?
That smokers are eligible to die
Are you
young.
kidding me? Like you're
Daddy, you never die. As long as you never die.
You're watching cartoon and you're asking your children not to watch cartoon.
Joe.
Thank you so much, Prince Francis Chilaka. Thank you, Mr. Kenobi. It's been Prince Francis that have suffered you, Mr. Kene. This is almost 4 hours, 3.5 hours marathon. It was
I know,
a
man. I
didn't plan it to be like this, but
no, it's okay, man. It's okay. Don't worry about that. No problem.
Thank you so much. I
no
appreciate
problem,
you guys.
Bros.
Prince Francis, thank you.
Good
Mr.
night,
Kenobi, we should start the backyard after now. We have some conversations to have.
Please, my YouTube channel, just put it out there.
What's your YouTube channel? Please, guys, follow Prince Francis Chilaka. He's on YouTube at Prince Chilaka, The Naked Truth. I still put this in name here. That's what the name before YouTube. So just
The Naked Truth. The Naked Truth. 4025.
Okay. You don't change that to 4025.
The Naked Truth 4025.
Okay. Mr. Kenobi, because is there a way that
simply I cannot be on Facebook, I cannot first on Instagram, first I can on X, former Twitter.
Okay. So in case we want to slide into your business DM for business purposes. So.
No problem. Okay. I'm there.
You mentioned you're a car dealer, so I had to put that out there so that people can slide into your DM. Guys, you want to do anything with cars, importing cars and all that, Mr. Kenobi is a sure belt. And by the way, he's a very honest and sincere gentleman. Just
That's
so
how
you
we
know. Yeah.
live. That's how we
Right.
live.
Yeah.
That's how we live.
So, all right. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Mr. Kenobi. I
All
appreciate
right.
you. Thank you, Miss Francis Chilak. I
Take
appreciate
good
you
care,
guys.
man.
My name
Have
is
a nice
Precious
weekend.
Eno. I'll see you guys. Have a nice weekend. I'll see you guys again tomorrow evening. Unfortunately, I don't have a holiday. And I'll see you tomorrow evening and see you again on Sunday, perhaps returning with Prince Francis Chilaka on Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an amazing day. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You know how I always say, please protect your mental health because he who fights and he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day, right? See you. Good night and God bless you.